A lot of celery.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody.
Why do you need that much celery?
Oh, do you want to know why we have celery?
I don't think so.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. Going live with
So,
Sean.
so by the way, you have to remember to go over to your Instagram window and click go live.
Oh, gotcha.
After
Okay, here we go.
you gotta you gotta click over on that and then
Yep. And then
click
just click
go
go
live.
live. Go live.
Speaking of live, we
Okay.
are live.
I'm
There
scared.
was okay. Well, I don't know what to
Go
tell
live.
you about being. Don't be scared. Don't be
Out of here.
scared.
I'm scared. No, I'm not. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. Okay, I got to
All
find
right.
you.
Well,
Going back to you.
don't be
Let
scared.
me find you. I'm closing out of everything else. You ready for this one, Sean? Oh my God. This is going to be my update for like, hey, how's life been for you since you started doing Regenerate that Sean made?
Okay.
Let's
What do you
do a
got?
recap.
All right.
Okay. Are we going? Are we on?
Yeah.
Is this,
No, we're on. We've been on for a minute and 17
oh
seconds now.
God, we're like,
You should see it on your Instagram thing. Um.
I did
Yeah.
it. I pressed play.
You
Okay.
did it.
I did it. Yay. Okay. Yay. So I'm going live on my Facebook right now because I want this information out there, and you just have to get over yourself if it upsets you.
Who, me?
No, not you. Just anybody.
Oh.
If you get upset, listen, calm down. Calm down. We're going to go easy on you.
All right.
So, Sean, first of all, you created this stuff called Regenerate.
I
It's
did.
amazing. You
I
originally,
agree.
I would love to hear the story for other people, like how you actually started it because to get your girlfriend off of benzos. That was amazing. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
I didn't even know what a benzo was.
Same.
Um. Yeah. And then I all of a sudden was dealing with a total lunatic. And it turned out to be benzos and benzo withdrawal and did a bunch of research on it, and it's certainly not fit for human consumption.
Oh,
There's no reason to give a benzo to a dog, to a human, to anything. It is that dangerous. It is crazy, and it causes more anxiety than it cures.
so what's a benzo? Like what are they called? So just they're the
The big
what are
ones are Xanax, Valium. Those are the two biggest
they
brands.
stay away from?
Hmm.
So you made this concoction to get your girlfriend off of it. It worked.
Basically, I just looked at what it impacts in the brain, and then I looked for how to both revivify the brain, meaning get the molecules into the brain that the benzos deplete,
Mm,
and then also add different supplements that would have a Xanax-like effect
mm,
without it hammering the brain so hard.
without you
Because
taking.
benzos and alcohol work the same way in the brain. Benzos are essentially alcohol in a pill.
Interesting.
In fact, if you're having benzo withdrawal, you can drink alcohol to stop the benzo withdrawal. They're
Wow.
both essentially synthetic GABA. But when the brain sees all of this synthetic GABA, it no longer tries to produce GABA. And alcohol has the added negative of it wrecks the gut microbiome, which makes GABA even harder to get into the brain.
And GABA is like the anxiety police.
GABA is a molecule that puts the brakes on the transfer of information from neuron to neuron. So, in the extreme example of not having enough GABA, you would have seizures.
Oh,
That's why people die from alcohol withdrawal because they have so little GABA. They remove the synthetic GABA replacement, which is alcohol or benzos.
right.
And that's why people can die when they quit alcohol or die when they quit benzos. That you don't die if you quit opiates. You can die if you quit benzos cold turkey. You can have a seizure and die and have crazy hallucinations and just be an absolute mess. Same thing with alcohol as well. But benzos are so powerful per milligram. The largest dose for Xanax is 2 milligrams. To put that in perspective of how much more powerful than alcohol it is. So even though it doesn't hurt the gut microbiome as much as alcohol, so you
Mm-hmm.
could theoretically put more, you could get more GABA into the brain because it's not wrecking the microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
It hammers the brain so hard and empties it so much of GABA because if the brain is trying to find equilibrium. So if there's no break, if there's too much brakes on the neurons, then you're not going to be able to control yourself. So it expects to get its GABA like substance from a pill, and it happens very quickly. So people get hooked on benzos in a matter of days. In a few weeks,
Wow.
they're certainly addicted to it. Um, and then the
Everybody.
odd thing about benzos, and it's probably the same thing for alcohol, but I don't know for sure on alcohol, but for benzos for sure, the more times you get on it and off of it, the harder it is to get off of it.
Oh, interesting.
So some
Um,
people that got on benzos and were hooked and they quit, they're like, what's the big deal? But other people, after a few cycles of it, it's it's very difficult to get off. They'll have hallucinations. It's very bad. And I mean the same thing because they operate on the same mechanism in the brain. Alcohol, benzos, very close in all of these reactions.
so just to make it easy on anybody watching this, I put it on iloveangelashelton.com so you can remember that
Hmm.
because you love me. iloveangelashelton.com. There's a whole bunch of links, and the top one is to regenerate, so you can buy it. So
And
just
it's on the one in Nashville and rg-8.com. So rg-8
yeah. My affiliate link is
or
on I Love Angela Shelton, though. Come
or
on now.
dash rg-8. Yeah,
My
go to I
personal
love.
affiliate link is on Angela Shelton.
So that's where you want to go.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
Angela Shelton. So you got your girlfriend off of benzos, and then you started getting all these people off of booze in Nashville. And
Hmm.
I saw that personally, and because I've been friends with
Yeah.
you for years now. And
Yeah.
I watched this, and I was like, watching the benzos. I've never had a pill. I don't pop pills. I'm not a pharma girl. Never have been. And the
Mhm.
booze, I'm like, I like my beer. I ain't even gonna touch that. But I was like, I'm off it now, by the way, completely. And I'll tell you why soon. So I was like, I saw what you did with people to get them off of booze with this and
Mhm.
benzos. And I was like, it's got to do something for post traumatic stress disorder. Because I had complex PTSD, like CPSD, from like
Mhm.
child traumas, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. So you have like a lot of complex PTSD. And watching what you did with people on benzos and alcohol, if you recall, was like, it sure should do something for PTSD, right? And so I took
Mhm.
one dose, y'all, one dose, and I never bought another bottle of wine. Just FYI. So that gives a good for your price tag, because your price tag's pretty high. But if you add up all the things that are in it, it actually it's actually cheap, relatively, you know what I mean? So I took one
Well,
dose and
yeah,
then I
if
never
you,
bought another bottle of wine. So that's like that saves me thousands and thousands of dollars.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
for
and
real.
yeah, and um, if you look at it at price per drink, it's so much cheaper than alcohol. It's
Exactly.
so much cheaper than Xanax.
Exactly.
So, and the amount, okay, it's expensive, but the amount of servings you get is huge,
Oh
and that's
yeah.
for a reason because if you're using it as directed and trying to stop drinking or benzos, you really need it for 30 to 90 days at
Yeah.
least.
I took it for
So
5 months.
you need that 90-day supply. Every
Yep.
bottle is a 90-day supply at the minimum dose. But if you're, really hitting the benzos or the booze hard, you're going to want to be on 3 doses per day. So then it's a 30-day thing. And then I would recommend doing it for at least 3 months because it takes time for the brain to get that GABA back in.
Build your brain back. Yeah, for real.
Right.
So
Hmm.
I did it for 5 months, and then you ready? Oh my God, Sean, like getting your nervous system balanced. nervous system balanced, especially with all of the, for years and years, I did trauma and recovery work, mainly with women, mainly with child abuse victims. And
Mm-hmm.
then I shifted mainly working with men, also trauma abuse victims. Also
Mm-hmm.
see huge results with this with trauma survivors, huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like life changing. Like you're different. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you got balanced all of a sudden. So we are totally unbalanced in society right now. Has anyone noticed?
Well, one of the things that I've heard from a lot of people is that it removes the need to need something.
Yes. Yeah. So I've had
So,
friends who are shopping addicts,
mhm,
smokers, all kinds
mhm,
of things. I mean, shopping addiction and it's gone. It's done.
right.
Me, it was triggers and just general anxiety.
Hmm.
Like workaholic anxiety. I was the workaholic that, I'm up at, you go to bed working and wake up working.
Yeah.
That was my life. Like go to bed working, wake up working. And yeah, I got a lot done. I got a lot done, but I was living in my sympathetic nervous system and I had no idea.
Yeah, but then I would also say that it's not going to prevent you from getting things done it because it makes you less scattered. I'd say that you're getting more done in less time when you're
That's
using regenerate. Um,
5,000%.
but yeah, it removes kind of the mania
Yeah.
from your operations.
It,
And so that's because you're unsettled because whether it's trauma or whether it's withdrawal, you're just in the constant state of needing something because the body's like, I'm not equalized, I'm not at equilibrium. I need a bucket of sugary treats, or
yep. Oh,
or
just wait. You
something
ready?
to crunch on. You
You
know.
ready? So I don't know if you knew this, but I mean, you and I are friends for a long time. But I mean, I have a huge. My main life is my spiritual life. It always has been.
Hmm.
Like that's where that's my go-to, and
Hmm.
this actually helps with meditations, with
For
like
sure.
with. I mean, going to the next level. If you want to get into all the other stuff, all the spiritual stuff, this is
Hmm.
fantastic. So you ready? I've been on it for a long time. Now I've been on the meat, milk, and men. I've been
Hmm.
on the carnivore. I've been on the cleanliness. Like I'm doing it, and it's been years now. And I'm 52. I'm looking pretty damn good. You know what I mean. So it's like it's working. I'm seeing like my voice is
Hmm.
different, Sean. My voice is different. I was just watching old videos of myself, and I was like, my voice is
Yeah.
up here,
Hmm.
and now it's like settled. And I've been doing these like outstanding meditations, like next
Hmm.
level, and just calling stuff in your life, and and when you link into getting out of the sympathetic nervous system and into the parasympathetic
Hmm.
nervous system, your meditations are next level, and the stuff you will attract in your life is next level.
Yeah, I don't
Like
really know if you can even meditate in a sympathetic dominant state. You can, you could do like transcendental meditation where you're repeating a mantra, but I would say that unless
right,
when you're in the state of meditation, you would be you need to get into a parasympathetic dominant state. But meditation is the act of getting out of sympathetic into parasympathetic. So even if you're not on regenerate and you're not able to get into that state, trying to switch to it. So when you're meditating, you switch to parasympathetic and then you can bounce right out because you're thinking of what you need to be doing or what you should be doing. Don't
right.
never, by the
Don't
way,
think of
never
monkeys.
should on yourself. But that just the act of coming back, getting out of it and going back to focusing on the breath or your transcendental word or your mantra or your prayer, that is training to get into a parasympathetic dominant state. So even if you know how to do it and you're in an unsettled state because of what's going on in your life, that constant correction, that is what makes you a stronger meditator. But I don't believe that you're in a solid if someone were to test your brain waves to see if you're in a meditative state, you would not be in a meditative state in a sympathetic dominant state. It wouldn't
Right.
you could be in the state of constant correction, which is that's the
Right.
magic how
So
you can
this
settle yourself in any situation is the more you practice that. So I'm not saying it's not valid to practice that. That is actually the most can be the most impactful meditation, even though you're not actually in a meditative state, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, yeah. The aim is to always be in one, right? Isn't that like just to
That would
live there?
be,
To live in that like woo
yeah.
woo connection.
Well, I don't know if it's woo woo. It's
That's
basically just where you're,
connected. When you got the goosies at the
you
top of
could
your
say
head and you're
connected,
like,
or you could just say in a state of peace. Even if there's
either way, yeah,
chaos
you're
going
in
around you, there's a
conscious.
lot of noise, but you're just
Yeah.
your field of view is wider. And another trick to get into a parasympathetic dominant state is to pay attention at the edges of your vision, because when you're sympathetic dominant, you have
Mm.
tunnel vision, both of actual vision and
Yeah, really.
brain,
Mentally and
but actually physically you have tunnel vision. You're not seeing the peripheral. So if you focus on the peripheral instead of looking straight ahead, that can also get you into a parasympathetic dominant state. That's why EMDR works with
yep.
the eye movement. That's why cycling works, because when you're cycling, you
Yeah.
have to be aware of your surroundings.
Also,
Uh,
that can heal your eyesight, according to Aldous Huxley in his. I'm reading that book, The Art of
yeah.
Seeing, and his whole thing is it's all connection to all the things we talk about. Is the eyesight when you focus like and stare?
Mhm.
Don't do that. You should look all over the place, like we're saying, and
Mhm.
get sun on the whites of your eyes and move
Right.
your eyes all over and do sun gazing, and it'll heal your eyesight because the
Right.
eyesight changes with fear.
Yeah, because you'll get tunnel vision.
Yeah,
And then the reason why
fear.
the
Okay.
sunlight is so good is because sunlight speeds up your mitochondria. So you're speeding up the energy powerhouse of each cell in your eyes with the more sunlight that you get.
Mm. So you ready for this one?
I don't know.
Oh God. So you know that you and I know a lot more than the usual person because of just our awareness and our research, right? Of the tunnels, of the, the underground, all the creepy weirdos and the Rockefellers and all the stuff that, the allopathic medicine, and it's all being taken over, blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just got, I was just gifted. I was gifted with knowing, getting to see and know what was behind the sixth layer of the Vatican vaults.
Okay,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, God. The Matrix. And listen, I'm just telling you a movie idea.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this sci fi movie. It's called A Rare Human. You can be in it, you get a part in it. So, in
Okay.
this sci fi movie, ready? In this sci fi movie, there's, I also did write this sci-fi movie, but the
Mm-hmm.
story is there is the Matrix. The Matrix we talk about is a
Mm-hmm.
system of very intricate parasites
Mm.
that are talking to each other. They're ones in our gut, the ones in our brain, and then there's in our aura. And they all
Okay.
communicate with each other to keep us in fear, doubt, panic, worry. Their favorite food is despair.
Mm.
That's the thing. And they keep you sedated, numb, controlled, so that you keep feeling anger, despair, upset, and anything that's not joy, love, laughter, and Jesus consciousness, which
Mm-hmm.
kills them. Joy kills them. That's why they hate me. This is why I was given this information.
Mm-hmm.
That I kill them, apparently, because
With
of
celery.
laughter, joy, and this is joyful for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of my aura. You ain't allowed. So joy, Jesus, energy, and laughter kills them. And they are intricately around all of us and literally feeding us. Are you reading your phone?
Mm-mm. I'm adjusting the volume.
And they are intricately around all of us, controlling our thoughts. So say for example, I looked at the code of you.
Mm-hmm.
That like you're made up of a code, and I got my Mary Poppins telescope, and I'm like, and I can look at the numbers of you that make up
Mm-hmm.
you. Imagine there's like mold around the numbers. That's how small it is and old. And it's
Okay.
reformed it's like gotten into the DNA. So that's a parasite layer, and then there's worms in the belly, and then wherever they're everywhere. Like wherever you have illnesses, it is layers of parasites. But then they communicate with these ones in the aura, and they kind of look like these yucky, disgusting. I saw it's like a little mini ugly. Well, he's already ugly. A little mini Harvey Weinstein with a long straw, and they suck and feed on your fear, doubt, anger, despair, and they are
It
poison.
sounds like a narcissist.
This, yeah, kind of. And so if you have them in your body and you continually do things, their biggest thing is despair. So their number one thing that they do in humans that they want to do is what? What am I great at? It stopping and blowing a horn about is CSA, child abuse. That's their favorite one. That's where the androchrome, all that blood and stuff, all that stuff in Hollywood that we've been seeing and hearing about, all that stuff is true, but it's going to layers of parasites. And that is the secret. You're like, what? And so when this was given to me, I was like, are you freaking crazy? Like, first of all, I have a big mouth and I'm going to tell everybody. Second of all, I have a movie. I wrote about this, but I didn't know about I'm like, this is going in the movie. This is going in the movie, y'all. This is just a movie. But seriously, this is the big secret. Why would this be the big secret? Because A, they're feeding on you. If you knew that all you had to do was laugh, be joyful, get your GABA back on, get off of alcohol, because that mainly is feeding them. What you said, like the families and the elites, like that are getting people to drink a bunch of the alcohol. Think now, parasites, alien parasites, organizing it in the brain to make you do that thing. And so they get them to drink the alcohol, and it feeds them, and then they control your brain. So literally, they're telling you, "Oh, call that person that hates you. You're ugly. But eat that Twinkie." Like it's all. So anything that is not joy, love, and ours. And Jesus consciousness or Gaia, if you don't like Jesus, like you go beyond, go to Atlantis, go to the light being, like we're light being, you're light being, we recognize each other, and then everything beyond that are the matrix is a intricate layer, like layer this way and this way of parasites communicating with each other. This is the information that's hidden. Like what? So why would they do that? Why would they hide that? Because if you knew that all you had to do was be like Jesus, laugh and be joyful, and it kills them, then they would have no money, they would have no control, and then the priests wouldn't also be allowed to go down into the tunnels to do the things with the kids.
You're saying, you just lost me on that last point. The priests would
not be able to benefit. Because all these people that are keeping the locks and the gates of this information also benefit from what's underneath, which is the tunnels. They have human farms. Like the child abuse goes way worse than anybody's ever able to handle it. Like you just can't handle, like a sweet little soul like myself, you can't handle it. It's going to be like you want to go lay in traffic. It's too much. It's too much to what they're doing.
Well, right, and that's why I think a lot of what's going on now is a scripted, almost scripted TV show, because they can't come out and unveil the truth to everyone because so many people wouldn't believe it. So it's about like a slow rollout of a lot of this stuff.
Sci-fi movie.
And then also, why were they so anti-ivermectin, which is anti-parasitic, anti-worm?
Hello.
Yeah.
When you have this information, it's
and
like,
then people. Well, let me point out another thing. People are gonna be like, wireless communication. I don't know about that. Well, they've done studies, and if you move your hand, the movement comes right before the electrical signal. So you're transmitting wirelessly through your body as well. It's not all through your nerves. So there is a wireless connection for everybody.
So I've taken all the stuff I've learned from you ever since I learned this, and I've taken my regenerate drinks that I take, and then now I'm putting my redneck parasite killer in there. So it's like I've all the concoctions.
The horse goo,
No.
black walnut.
No, clove, black walnut, and woodworm are the like the
Yeah,
trifecta that kill them.
yeah.
So I just put that into my diet. So like milk,
Wormwood, by the way.
wormwood. Yeah, what do I say?
Woodworm. That's you want to get rid of that.
Wormwood.
Yeah,
Wormwood.
wormwood.
So I put that. I put clove and cinnamon into my warm milk now. So every single thing I do is killing parasites, including the contract that is underneath all this, like the contract that we got into, the agreement, the spiritual agreement that we got into with the being hijacked, was that our sentence is our sentence. So everything you say is your sentence in this prison. So it's like somebody like that is always, you see them, the women who are like, oh, this is blah, blah, blah. Or, I'm so blank, like in a negative way. I'm not even going to say it, but it actually comes real in your life. That's why when you ramp up all the prayer and just start saying, I love it. I love you. I love you. Joy, get away from me. You can't even exist around me. But the contract is your sentence. And you basically stay here with your own agreement. And so they're brainwashing you in your brain to talk to your gut, to eat the whatever, eat the Twinkie, drink the thing, and then stay in the thoughts that they eat. That makes sense? Like all of them.
Well,
and guess what? What you've said forever, you've said, have compassion for the crazy women because they're not just crazy, they're poisoned.
right.
Imagine every single one of these links. And I've started killing them. And when you see groups of them coming out of you with like, oh God, it's rough. It's like, it's not for the weak to kill parasites. It's not for the weak. Right. So it's like, all right, this is war. And when you do that, it flushes all these emotions because they're connected to holding you with the old emotions so that they could feed on it energetically. And just wow. So I've implemented all this stuff. I changed my whole, I have that travel kitchen that I travel with. I changed it all to where it is now like redneck parasite comedy, parasite PDC, parasite death comedy. And like the meat is great to eat. Anything that kills them, like that they can't survive on, which is basically not sugar. So just don't, the alcohol and sugar feeds them. And the other thing is the agreement to stay in this life too. That's another one where they trap you. So you want to stay in high consciousness at all times so that when you die, when the light shows up and say like, come to the light, come, let's talk about your karma. Let's review your life. That's kind of like Beetlejuice. That's a trick.
Yeah, you go the other way.
One more layer. Yeah. You got to wait past anybody rushing you and just wait and be still, which is so funny with meditation and all this. Like you just wait and be still and zip it.
And one other thing before we get too far away, I want to say that one other thing I always say is you are not your thoughts. You are the area in between.
Exactly. So that is super light source. So when you connect to your light source and whenever you have a negative thought, just like you got to get it out.
Fling it out with a piece of celery.
Fling it out with celery. I told you about the celery, right?
Yeah, I know about the celery.
So funny. It's so funny. Every time I see it, this has become my spiritual scepter, my spiritual wand. The things that you can do with your time. And also, by the way, turns out eating celery helps kill parasites. Shut your face. I was like, all the things you can do with it, that are not other things you could do.
So one thing to note is be careful with the clove. Clove can be hard on your liver. You don't want to go like max clove. And also, if you do a lot of clove, it can have so much die off that it can make you nauseous and feel sick.
Definitely have felt that. And I felt them moving, and I felt a whole spiritual like I did a whole vomit come out both ends. I was commanding. I was like, ain't nobody gonna be in my life, in my body, except Jesus and God.
Mm,
I work for God. All contracts are canceled. I ain't playing with y'all. Get out!
mm,
Like I just did like, nah.
yeah.
And when I did that, holy shit.
Another thing I want to point out too is that biblical scripture says first there was the Word, and then also I think it goes back to the Emerald tablets, where we were all perfect beings, and then our DNA was damaged,
Yeah. By
and so
alien parasites.
that's what you're speaking of is
Yeah.
the parasites.
And this is
And then
so
there's energy parasites,
yep.
and then if you're around people that have a lot of parasites, then
Yeah.
they'll be in your space.
Yeah. Just having
Um,
sex with
and
somebody.
that's why I said about the it just fell out of my head when you talked about sex. What was I talking about? Um, uh, I lost my train of thought.
It's funny. I'm purging. Purging parasites. God, for real.
Yeah.
And it's a command to be sovereign and not be a part of the programming, because the programming in the media, the medical, oh, get this. In the medical world, you know, the little pieces of mercury in those
Hmm.
actually provide little boats and rafts for the parasites in our bodies. Shut your face.
And that's from the Vatican stuff information.
Yes.
Hmm.
This was a whole download I got. Like I got a whole information, and you'll never you'll never guess who gave it to me. This is my life. Like the most amazing random stuff happens. Like how I started modeling with like having the I got into a car accident. How
Hmm.
like I raised millions of dollars. Just like it was always like really random, but not so random. So
Hmm.
do you remember the song "Word Up"? Put your hands in the air like you don't care. Word up from the 80s.
Mm-mm. No.
You'll totally recognize it.
I mean, I know, put your hands in the air, yeah, and wave them like you just don't care, yeah. But that's
Maybe that
a
was a
different
redo
song.
of it. But so hold on. Word up. I'm just gonna start it. You'll recognize it. When you gonna go? Hello.
So while you're looking for that, I'll just say so actionable items: do the clove, the black walnut,
Yep.
wormwood. Ivermectin is another antiparasite, but some
Um.
people say that it is not as good as the natural remedies.
Actually, he recommended the one that starts with an F.
Fenbendazole.
Yeah. He said that they're seeing that has less side effects later than the I one on humans.
And there's also menbendazole and there's fenbendazole and menbendazole.
Is this a dare advertisement? That's funny. No. This is a
Hmm.
get it right with God advertisement. Get parasites out of
Oh, I
your body.
remember what I wanted to point out. There's 22 human emotions in the English language. There's certainly more that aren't defined in English. And the goal of the media is to keep you in the bottom tier, because number 16, I want to say is anger. So if you're in despair, guilt, shame,
Yep.
sadness, anger feels better than all of those emotions.
And they
So then
like
when they present an idea for you to be angry about, if you're in
exactly.
those lower emotions,
Yep.
you will trade those lower emotions for anger.
Yep.
And this is how the few create war, to go against their faction that they're against or whatever they want to do. Basically, you're a wind up person and you
Yeah.
are a weapon if you are in any of those emotions below anger. Now, if you're above anger, in the top 15 emotions, of course, the best are joy, happiness,
Exactly.
contentment.
Connect it. Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. Then when you're presented with the opportunity to get angry about something, you don't take it. You
Excuse me.
don't you don't take it. So the media is not your friend. They want
No.
you to be below anger so that they can weaponize you
Yeah.
anytime they would like by presenting you something to be angry about.
Hey.
So I know this is, I know for me personally, when I'm around people that are angry, it doesn't make me angry. I'm just like, oh, they're, you
You're
know,
with
they're sad or they're in despair or they're in shame or they're in guilt. And
Yep.
so they have a reason to be mad and now they're taking full advantage of it. And you won't be mad, you know, if you're in the higher level emotions. Not to say that you're a pushover and you never get mad, but it's almost like you'll think beforehand, you know, be like, is this worth me getting angry about? Is this person disrespecting me enough to get angry? And oftentimes you'll be like, I'll pass.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not to say to be a doormat, to don't ever to don't get ever get angry. There is a time to get angry, but you're being conscious of it and you're realizing, okay, I'm, you know,
I
is
got angry at these parasites. You want to hear something crazy? With speaking
yeah.
of angry, and hello there. What is it? Couldn't talk. I'm doing cleansing, Sean.
Mm,
Good Lord. So another thing that I think is really relevant. Plus, I'm
mhm,
about the women, the angry women. But
mhm,
first, let me play you this, Red.
yeah, I know this
You
tune.
totally know the
Yeah,
song.
yeah,
Word up, the hands. This is my guy. This is my buddy now.
yeah. Okay,
Arnett Lieutenant.
all right.
So funny. Random. We pulled up next to each other, parked right next to each other to get apples and butter at this little farmer's stand.
Hmm.
It's Arnett Lieutenant from the cameos. We're now buddies. He tells me,
Excellent.
he's like, "Oh wow, you're a light being," and I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "I should tell you some things if you're ready to hear them." And we stood there in the rain and talked for 2 hours while my mother was having like a conniption of emotions of like,
Hmm.
and I just let her. I was like, listen, this is like profound moment here. You can deal with your own stuff. Go shop, do what you
So
got to do.
the mind bender thing is because I know she eats a lot of sugar. I wonder, you know, you'd have to think that it was she's getting signals to be unsettled to
Yep.
try to break this conversation
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
didn't fall for it. I still had the conversation. Then I had another one with him, longer. Short story is he similar to me in the music industry and entertainment. He saw the behind the veil of the darkness.
Hmm.
He went and became a PhD so he could help people. He got through all the schooling. He got to the end, and he said they present you with a big old hunkin' paperwork, kind of like when I was on Oprah. You have a lot of things you got to sign that you can't say or do.
Hmm.
And he can't, and in that paperwork, you agree that you will not ever share holistic healing with your patients
You're
or
talking about, you said he went for a PhD, what, doctor?
yeah,
Like
he's a
to be a
doctor.
medical doctor? Because
Yeah,
there's other PhDs.
he is a
Okay.
doctor. Yeah, so he can't uh share holistic healing, otherwise you lose your license. And if you do
Right.
it repeatedly, they will sue you. And I was
Right.
like, shit, man, you need to write a book, like reveal
Well,
that.
we talked about that before with the AMA. And that's why doctors are so sad because they're not helping their patients.
Because they're
And
locked into these contracts.
right, they have a formulary. They have to present the formulary that's approved.
Yep,
That's
which
why I
is
stopped going to doctors and I try to get, you know, there's some boomers that are close to me, but boomers are so programmed that you
uh-huh,
cannot get through to them. They want to know their levels and their blood work and they
your
believe
diagnosis.
what these people say. They're so handcuffed and they will
Yep,
get kicked out. And if you owe $300,000 because you just got, you know, spent 12 years in school with, you
yeah,
know, including a residency, you're in indentured servitude.
exactly. So I was like, okay, so why don't you write a book or something? He's like, well, I don't want to spend the time, especially once I found out what was behind the Vatican. I was like,
Mhm,
excuse me, what? And so he went and didn't sign it. He's like, all right, well, the only reason they're signing it is so that they can get the money from the system, like the Medicares and stuff like that. So if you don't sign it, he still has his education. He still is a doctor, but he just is not in the system. So he's free on Facebook. He's Arnett Lieutenant from the cameos. And his thing is
mhm.
he gets people off of pharma, just like you. So he's already gotten like 5,000 people off, totally off of pharma. So That's his thing. Like
Well, can we
basically,
get him to join a live
yeah.
next week?
I actually was talked to him earlier, and he's on his way to Atlanta for a show because they still do shows. You know, he still
Oh,
performs.
cool. That's cool.
Super cool, but so aware. Like so aware. Like you would get along with him really well. Like a dude who's like solid and actually like consciously aware.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. We actually started the conversation because my mom was being a little, my mom, and he was walking to his car, and I turned and saw him, just such an excellent looking man. And I was like, oh man, a nice guy. I love you men having to deal with the women in this world. God bless you. I feel for you. and, and he was like, oh, I only keep going because of light workers like you. And I was like, oh, you see that? You see that, huh? And he's like, oh yeah, I see it. It's pretty big. And that got me. I was like, all right, we're talking because you can talk on a different level with me. Then I find out all this stuff with like the pharma, and that he's the one who said, oh, get this. In studying the shitty, he has been on some groups or committees or whatever you want to call them. And he was like, the thing is, the doctors don't talk to each other because we're indoctrinated not to. We can't. But the morticians talk to each other. So the morticians are seeing the blood clots, and we were taking the blood clots from the morticians and then studying the blood clots. And girl, the blood clots are moving.
After death or before death?
Moving before and after, and they're like that movie Venom. They're like black ink, and they grow little legs, and it's an alien parasite. And I'm just like, and he said basically you just live on a parasite cleanse. Live your life like that. And then on the full moon is when the queens come out, and that's what I just did this past weekend, where you aim for it, like you just go hard on it, kill zone. And so what I did is I ate some bad stuff, like I ate like a piece of pie or pie, and then wait an hour and then slam like a slug a concoction. So you basically you're bait and switch.
Boy, you have to eat the pie?
No, you don't have to. It's just
Okay.
it's another
Just
way to
checking.
get queen. Because if you've been taking a lot of clove or something all month and the queen like comes out and smells the poison, she won't eat. But if you bait her with like whatever it was, a piece of pie or bite of pie, and then she's like, oh, yummy. And one night, the last time I drank alcohol, actually, I was like, you know what? I'm going in for wine. I drank a glass of wine. Wait, and then another glass of wine, and waited for them to be having a party. And then I slammed it, and oh my God, the dreams that I had, the visions I had, oh my God. When you see it with your own eyes, what comes out with the little worms.
So
No.
I've
I just can't. Have you ever had a high colonic?
So I mean I've taken wormwood, clove, black walnut, ivermectin, or ivy, whatever. Yeah, and I've never seen anything, but ever. But I mean I know that so many people have said that they've seen things, but I never have. Um, but I mean I have felt the headaches that comes with the eye, that comes with the clove, with the cinnamon and the clove. And my favorite tea is a cinnamon clove tea. I drink it every day.
Oh,
I
that's
put I put clove. I use a lot of clove for both scent and also oral care. So
nice.
I'm always on clove. But I will say to people, and just say it out loud because it happens to me. Clove can make me. It's a fine line between being severely nauseous with clove. If you take too much clove, you will know it.
Yeah.
And then clove can also be hard on the liver. So, you
To
know,
do liver loving things.
yeah.
Some
And
milk
there's a lot of
thistle.
liver loving things, by the way, in
Yeah.
Regenerate. There's knack and
Yep.
there's milk thistle.
Well,
Milk thistle is great.
that's why I wanted to tell you about the PDC, let's call it, Parasite Death Comedy.
Okay, what's that?
That's my goal now. I'm like, because it's linked to child predators. It's so linked to child predators. And
Well,
so what I
so
it's like
so
parasite killer.
I
Have
guess
this. Wait, hold on, hold on.
Okay,
Get people off of alcohol because alcohol is feeding the parasites. This
for
gets
sure.
this gets people off of alcohol, and then you become aware to even have a bigger conversation because you're not numbed and dumbed down. And
Hmm.
you take this, get clear, and then have a spiritual conversation and start killing parasites, and then we're gonna and then we all ascend. It's great. And the
So,
ascension is awareness. It's not we're gonna go into a cloud or something. It's like
right.
awareness, and we don't
Well,
live in the program anymore.
and then when you have the awareness, then when you pass on, you can ascend when you pass on.
Exactly.
Yes, instead of
And
just
get in the
coming
trap.
back and then doing the same
Jail.
everything, but maybe you'll end up in India.
Yeah.
I
so
mean,
so basically we're in prison. They
w-
have our light sources in prison and they're feeding on us. And the
mhm.
reason the cat just imagine why would the Catholic Church be hiding this information in the Vatican? Money, child abuse, power, control.
W-
Like
well,
and it just it's like
well, but then also, once you have people in such a low level of consciousness, they're like a bug that's controlled by a fungus. And if you want to know of an actual example in science on the internet that you can Google, cordyceps mushrooms will hijack a bug and use it as a car.
nuh-uh.
Hmm.
Oh, so it shows it right there in nature.
Right. So that's another example of something of
You can't
something.
say that about the little hats. Tiny little hat club.
Yeah. What's the? Hold on one second. I gotta adjust this volume.
We had a comment about a tiny hat club. And it's like you can't say that. This is odd. Bye
Maybe
now.
maybe that'll work. Um, yeah. So there's other examples of it in nature right there. But
No, that's
the thing that I don't have the link that you didn't mention that you did touch on.
what is that?
So
Celery.
no, we don't have to touch on the celery. But but the no, so what is this is the connection that the parasites, the energy parasites want more people in low levels of consciousness, and
Oh yeah.
that's why they're okay. Yeah, because that's why the child abuse is so detrimental because it can lock people into fight or flight.
Yep.
Because
And
you
then it
touched on
fragments.
that, but you didn't actually link it to that.
Oh yeah, I haven't. See,
You
I
just
was. I
said,
was.
and that's why they have the tunnels with all
Yeah.
of the
So
abuse.
yep.
But you didn't say that it's to create more vessels for the parasites to inhabit.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's taking
Yeah,
it next.
that
And then you
right.
fragment somebody, like fragment their parts, like all the people who have all their, you know, disassociations, and then
Hmm.
they're controlling the feelings of all those parts too, or eating them rather. They're feeding on it. So here's
Hmm.
what I think is fascinating because you said this about women forever, about the super angry women nowadays who are mad at men and like yelling
Hmm.
patriarchy, patriarchy. Well, each one of these worm alien things
Hmm.
are ruled by a queen.
Hmm.
They're ruled by a queen, of violent, manipulative, evil queens. These are not
Hmm.
men. Actually, the
Hmm.
men are victims because this
Hmm.
has been old. This is old. This is literally the in the Bible in Revelations. It is the I know the synagogue of Jews. They're not really Jews. They're a synagogue of Satan. That's
Hmm.
this,
Hmm.
and it's not the J E. It's not the little hats. It's like the Khazarian stuff. Like it's like the name stealers. It's like
Hmm.
it's not. It's the parasites that, and also they can
What
take
what
lines. That's a whole other thing.
they take the bloodlines, meaning because they hijack the whole family with a
Yeah,
parasitic infection, right?
exactly.
Well, and that's one of the things that is important to note is that there was a time where there was elites that actually had high consciousness and wanted to build, a good country because they were
Yeah.
building the country. And then, we're so many generations deep of alcohol abuse and drug abuse and low vibration. So now the elites have low vibration, a la Bill Gates, or
All the
would be
Rockefellers, all the
yeah, the Gates is in the Rockefeller clan,
yeah.
the Rothschilds.
Yeah.
Which the Rothschilds are the Windsors. They changed their name, the Queen and that whole family. And of course, there's tons of evidence about Prince Andrew now. That was a new thing that just came out recently.
What?
That one of his closest confidants said that on a hidden camera, said that the rumors and the accusations were true, and that he was doing that, and that he was disgusted by it. But yeah, so and then also the Vatican, I think it was 1651 was noted that it was completely hijacked. And then, I mean, come on, let's
This is
look.
old. This is old, and they've had
There's
a long time. And we're at a pivotal place in the world right now, in America especially, and we have enough people wake up energetically. You shift the veil. You're like
Mhm.
you like just us being ah, like
well,
we have
one
to
of one
shift.
of the we've talked about this before. One high consciousness person in a room will affect everybody in that room. I mean,
Yep,
I've seen it so many times.
same.
There's a lot of people gossiping or you know throwing negative energy around, let's just say, and we'll define that by maybe bullying someone or I don't know, how would you define it? You've been in rooms like
Oh
this
yeah,
where everybody's complaining.
oh yeah.
Um, the standard low level, low consciousness human stuff. They say small minds talk about people, large minds
Yep.
talk about ideas. So you got a
Which
room
brings
full
me, which brings
of
me to
people.
the angry woman nowadays who's yelling about
Mhm.
patriarchy and brr, brr, brr. Imagine that woman is on pharma. She's on the bad food. She's on the media. She's on the la 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 la, and she's in her sympathetic nervous system. She's loaded up with child trauma, probably
Mhm.
domestic violence, all kinds of stuff. And so she's loaded, like covered with mold almost, with all these
Mhm.
little things, and yelling about patriarchy when really she's being manipulated by a queen.
Mhm.
And I told a group earlier, yesterday and today, I was like, just think about that. Think about being programmed. And when you see that, when you finally just see whether it's a sci-fi movie, y'all. This is just a sci-fi movie I wrote.
Mhm.
But when you can see it, doesn't that make you a little pissed off? Like this is like they've separated the men and women. They've poisoned the men. They turned the men gay as hell and like taken out of their masculinity. They've made the women hate men, and that was all systematically to keep you separated so that they could feed on the anger and the
Mhm.
despair and the upset. And then underneath are the tunnels. Apparently, it's way worse than I ever thought. And the survivors I've talked to, you know, I've deep dived a little bit. I don't even like to talk about it, but underneath in the tunnels there are farms, like child farms. They're not just abusing kids; they're producing kids to abuse. Like
Mhm.
it's that level, and it's literally farming them for this very thing because their favorite food is despair. And so it
Mhm.
went up above. If they could keep the men from being aware of this, because the men who are men are not putting up with this. The men who are men are going to jackhammer through the ground and go save those kids and bust up all. I mean, that's. But if
Are
you,
are you familiar with the catacombs that are all over the world?
yep,
So, if anyone watching this is like, "Oh, this sounds outlandish," just Google catacombs, France, catacombs, the Vatican, catacombs, in most every big old city, there's a catacomb underneath the city that is stacked with dead human remains. And I
yep,
know that sounds outlandish, but Google it.
it's
There's
creepy.
photos. And then they even have areas where you can get into the catacombs, but they admit that it is a tiny fraction of the actual catacombs uh, that are underneath these large cities. And then there's evidence to suggest that there's some kind of piezoelectric force that's generated by the bones, the way that they have them stacked.
What?
So that it's some kind of force. Uh, yeah, so
All of this is
it's a
such
real thing.
a sci-fi movie. that you're like, are you kidding me?
Are,
Behind door number
are
6 is we're in the movie Men in Black, Beetlejuice, and Venom.
yeah,
All at one
well, but then also, in the satanic religion, they have to inform you what they're doing. So that's
exactly.
why they constantly make movies depicting the things. That's why there was
Yeah.
popular movies like Outbreak, that was to prep the masses
Yep.
for an outbreak.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of evidence to suggest that the 1918 flu was happened right after a vaccination campaign. This is the same thing happens over and over again. I always tell people that what's happening now is the late
Yeah.
60s race riots.
Program.
You had the swine flu. You had all of the
Double
gas crisis.
like
You had the
double tappy.
hmm?
Somebody said double tap for the like. Yeah, like us. You could double
Yeah,
tap on us.
yeah,
If you
tap
like
it,
this
tip
crazy,
it,
outrageous
tip
conversation.
it, tap it. Yeah, so um, I've lost my train of thought now, but
Hey, Gene. That it's a program. And when you
mhm,
realize that it's a program, but it's also run by energetic and real parasites, that's what's giving the
mhm,
program. It's not
mhm.
like 18 families sitting around a room like making a plan, but it is.
Well,
But like the families who've been taken over by the creepies.
the other thing is people always talk about things running through families due to genetics, but it's not genetics, it's habits. Families eat the same foods. They they end up having the same addictions, the same foods.
They
So
abuse
it's
kids.
not the genetics. It's
What's going on here?
the food.
Jesse, what's going on here? We're discussing getting out of the matrix, getting off of alcohol, getting clean body, and getting clean so that you're a clean vessel of your divine spirit so that we can save the planet. Is that kind of what we're doing? That's what we're doing. And this stuff, hey, Jesse, the stuff that my friend Sean makes, it's called Regenerate. It's amazing. It's a combo of, it's 18 ingredients. It's nothing woo woo. It's no hemp or it's no like mushroomy stuff, but it's
What's going on here?
yeah, kappa. And this removes the need to need something. And actually, my
Yeah.
very first, I'll repeat myself, but Jesse asked, I took one dose of this and I never
Mhm,
bought another bottle of wine.
mhm,
And I was working with Hollywood and I was drinking some wine.
mhm.
And wine is,
A lot of wine.
a lot of wine. It was
Mhm,
the budget is a budget bottle is like $20, and I
mhm,
like the good stuff. So it's like I saved so much money by taking this. Plus, that when I found out that spirits feed the parasites, I totally stopped drinking.
Yeah, that's why they call it spirits.
I literally I was like, okay, that's it. Because I liked it sour beers. So I've been making my fake sour beers with
Mhm,
Regenerate. So I've been making my fuzzies, and now I'm just putting parasite cleanser in there. But the Matrix is
mhm.
fun. You can shoot slow mo in there.
Sounds like tastes like steak. It's
Yeah.
a Matrix movie reference.
Been this.
Tastes like steak.
That's hilarious. So when I
Yeah.
found that out, what I find the most aha moment, there's a couple big huge aha moments. One is the alien weirdo parasites are directly related to systematic child trafficking for years and years and years. Like that's for decades, centuries. That's what they're doing. So in comes me. I'm the superhero that's like, oh hell no. Hell
Mhm,
no. So there's that. And then there's also the women that I have a soft spot for them. I love them to death, but they're outrageously unstable right now. And when
mhm,
if they could actually see, hopefully, that your traumas and all the things you're hating and all the things you're adamant about. I'm adamant. I'm adamant. You know what I mean? It's like it's actually like you see like they're so like this that when they see they're actually that's not them. If they can, then they could have them.
When you see them actually, they
when you
run that back.
when the women can actually see that it's parasites,
Mm,
you're loaded up with it. It's not your thoughts. Men are not bad. It's not like Nobody was against you. You actually got, it's not you. You're a light being, like a super light being that got hijacked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not men's fault. Actually, men are a victim of this also. And you think like men are bad and men are bad and men are doing this and patriarchy. When you look deep into SRA too, satanic stuff, it's the women
Mm-hmm.
like that
Well,
are the top, like the top dogs.
well, Lilith, if you're familiar with the Lilith archetype,
Yeah.
you're familiar with Lilith?
He took 2 words from what you said and asked a question. Will Smith was supposed to be in that movie.
I'm not concerned with anyone who uses bruh.
Bro. Shout out from West Texas. Hey, Gene's
Oh,
in here
and
from Texas too.
somebody asked Nashville. It's Nashville, Tennessee, not Nashville, Indiana.
Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, Sean is at the one in Nashville. I'm AngelaShelton.com. But you can get all my stuff at ILoveAngelaShelton.com. I should have put that on there. And a link to this stuff because this stuff is amazing. This really is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I want more of it. And this is a way to get present because people aren't present. Bruh.
And for my comment on the bruh, I apologize because being in judgment is a sympathetic dominant trait. So I withdraw that.
Withdraw the judgment.
Yeah,
We're
I
loving
withdraw the
bruh.
judgment. Bruh, it's
So
cool, bruh.
what if you see um people are so funny. The energy that you're putting out, your sentence is your sentence. So what you're putting
Mm-hmm.
out there, like if you're, spewing stuff, you're actually spewing stuff on your own life. Like kind of
And
like
first there was the word.
the word's the word.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, I mean, look at the Bible. The very first creation story is with a serpent.
Mm-hmm. And it's all in the Bible. It is kind of convoluted to understand, and that's probably on purpose to an extent because, the people in power want to stay in power. You need to pass on the information, but you don't want everybody knowing it because if everybody knew it, then you wouldn't have any power.
Yeah,
And that's how it's been shaped over time. But you still have to admit what a great collection, especially adding the books that have been removed too.
exactly. And you can see, like, I went myself a couple versions down into the what's been taken out of the Bible, like the books that are left out. And you can
Hmm.
find, I've actually been to the Vatican, and you can get to a certain level. You can get to like 2, 3, if you know somebody, kind of thing. But to go deep into the vaults of what's hidden, you don't get that. I just got that like as a gift, and I was like, "Are you sure you're gonna tell me that? Because I have a big mouth." And he's like,
Yeah.
"The point is you do have a big mouth, and I want you to share this because you stay funny. You're
Hmm.
super light. Your aura is ginormous, and it's like super, super powerful and bright. So you are protected because I'm not getting into all that parasite stuff. I'm not living with that world, but
Hmm.
I can help people simply by laughing. Isn't that crazy? Like, so I was like, nothing lit me on fire to do my comedy show like this. I mean, here we go. Let's go.
Have you ever heard of Mantak Chia?
No, mad what?
Now I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but Mantak Chia.
Come on, talk.
He's a Chinese medicine practitioner in Qigong, and one of the things that he recommends is laughing. And
Yeah.
even if it feels fake or feels forced, that's one of the things to boost you up. Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
like that also kills parasites.
Hmm.
And you can see them. Oh my God, Sean, when you start like walking around the world with this information and looking at people,
Well, I mean, I,
oh,
to see the parasites, I don't know if I can see the parasites on people, but I can see
the
the
evidence.
mood, the
Yeah.
the yeah,
Packs of fat are colonies.
the what is colonies?
Packs of fat
Oh,
would be colonies.
packs
Like,
packs of fat.
like pockets of fat, like, like big glumps of fat around
Oh,
people, like they're big pockets of fat.
oh, okay. So
There's
fat.
like these, rolls of fat or parasites.
Hmm.
And then also wherever you're having
Well,
pain,
it would also be actual fat too, but
but they live in the tissues though.
right. Yeah.
They're like, when you start seeing this stuff and like when you deep dive it, it is nasty. It is so nasty. I see why they picked me to tell me this because I ain't playing with that. The black woman that lives inside of me is like, nah, I ain't no.
Mm.
I will put a garlic clove up my butt. I will chew on celery all day. I ain't even playing with y'all.
You know,
No.
somebody's gonna put a garlic clove up their butt now, by the
I
way,
did
because
that.
you s
I was like, this is dating. Dating 101. I got garlic clove up my butt. I'm chewing on celery. I'm like, woohoo!
Oh, that's actually celery. No,
This is
that's
the real deal, yeah.
okay, yeah.
So it's actually good for killing parasites. I
Yeah.
got hair on it.
And
But
you have less your is going down too.
yeah, way much.
Mhm.
Way much. Yeah. Celery kills parasites.
Mhm. And it's well, I bet it's removing sugar.
Oh,
And beer, I bet is really helping you that. But
yeah,
you knew
the
that for
maybe the beer.
years that because we've talked about it
I know.
before, is the beer really ratchets that up.
I know. And I'm stubborn because I like I liked my sour beer, my boy, and my truck.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that story.
Mhm.
And
Who doesn't like a truck?
a beer and a boy, and a hot man and a beer and a truck down by the river. Give it to me. But when I saw that the beer was feeding the parasites,
Oh, for sure.
and then as you elevate and you get bigger, I'm like more powerful, and they fall off of you, or you poop them out, or God bless. I hope you don't have to puke them out. Oh, anyway, whoo, you'll see that the other people around you can't be around you anymore.
Yeah. Well, as your consciousness
It
rises, you
yeah,
can't yeah, they don't want to be people that are there's a huge percentage of people that can't go 15 minutes without telling themselves a lie or to others.
so
And when
true.
truth is in the room, they're repelled by truth being in the room. And so you'll lose a lot of friends.
Hey Trey, why are you being so mean? That's
Let
like,
me guess, that's the guy that I said the
bruh.
negative thing about, bruh. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, bro.
it's like a lot of energy that you're spewing on him. It's like it's not necessary.
Oh.
Love you, Trey. Turn it on yourself, baby.
Do I need to turn my chat on?
No, it's
Where's
like
my chat?
you are that guy.
Here we go.
No, he's like a guy that has no truck and drives a used old Honda.
Here's a guy who has no
He
tr
just owns a
That's
car dealership. No, okay.
all right, Trey.
So this is a perfect example.
Stop talking about yourself, Trey.
Well, yeah, it's like energy. What are you putting out there for real? So speaking,
This guy.
it's awesome. So speaking of though, the time it takes to do that goes back to the women too. The women that we've talked about forever that are spending too much time doing all the chats, like the negative chats and the anti whatever political program that
Mhm.
they're doing, And it's like when you see that we've been saying this forever, you've been saying this forever, is it's a program. It's all a program they're running and you fell for it. But when you know that it's parasite, I
Mhm.
mean, doesn't that give you a little bit? It does for me. It gave me an enemy, a
Mhm.
target. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like because I've heard
And an enemy outside of yourself, because so many people talk so poorly to themselves. So,
5,000%.
if you call it parasites, even if you don't believe in it, let's say
Yeah,
fully, but if you just
sci-fi
decide
movie.
that that's what it is, then it's outside of you. The enemy is outside of you. So when you have this negative voice in your head, that's not you. But that's again one of the reasons why I always say you are not your thoughts. You are the area in between.
So true. Unless your thought is just well, it would the thought wouldn't be
The
the
thought is not
love
you.
wouldn't be a thought. It would be a
Right.
feeling.
Well, no,
Love, joy. It's like you don't have to speak. You're just doing it.
well, if you have years ago, I read a Reddit thread where people were commenting that there was people on Earth that don't have a constant dialogue going on in their head. And then the comments were outrageous because everybody was slamming those people as being idiots. And I would say that when I was younger, I used to have a constant dialogue in my head, and I can tell you from experience that's not You're not in the moment.
Right.
You're not reacting with your true essence. You're reacting with how you think you should act because you're not, it's not you. It's people, things that people have said to you. It's things that you've seen on the media. Like, for example, how many people do you know that act like an archetype that you've seen or heard before? They even talk in a rhythm or in a style that's exactly what you've heard before from so many people.
Oh,
They
because they're
haven't even
being.
yeah, they haven't even started the process to figure out who they are.
Yeah, I have one girl in my mind that is like has such good intentions, God love her, but she's on however many meds. She's got her diagnoses that she's
Hmm.
very like attached to, and she hates everything in politics. She spends most of her time talking bad about
Hmm.
herself and the world and
Hmm.
other people, and look at her life.
Hmm.
Like your sentence is your sentence. It's like you're overweight, you're on tons of meds, you're on this, and you're
Hmm.
angry all the time at men who you think did this whole thing, and it's really a queen alien parasite. I
Hmm.
mean,
And
it's
even if it's hard for you to believe that, believe in it anyway, because then it puts it outside of yourself.
and it's time for unity, unity, unity. Like
Hmm.
like love and unity. When we see each other, it's like, oh, thank you, Jesus, that you're alive. Yay!
Hmm.
Like,
What do you think about the percentage in your travels through life that you know are out of it, or not? I shouldn't say out of it, or at least, do you know what I mean when I say out of it?
aware out of the
Yeah, well,
program.
I was trying not to use aware, but yeah, I mean d- aware
Out.
that there at least is a matrix.
Yes.
Um,
That number growing constantly.
yeah, I think that it's really growing constantly, and then
Yeah.
in my tours that I do, um, you know, some of the things that I would say that people would be shocked, and now it's just kind of like, or they find it funny. They're not looking around like, can I laugh at that? I really think that we're moving forward
It's moving
quickly.
fast. And I
Yeah.
think that's going to be great because the more we can get people aware and like I'll constantly be sharing this stuff and solid, the more people will be able to handle the truth that's coming. Because it's going to come. It's going to
Mhm.
come out what's underneath, what's in the tunnels. It will be revealed, and it's not pretty. And it's so bad that people can be like you might not be able to handle it.
Did you see James O'Keefe's release of the video of Epstein's house?
No, what was that? I
The
like
whole kitchen, the like a commercial kitchen, because it's a
Mhm.
large house and throws parties there, threw a bunch of parties there. Completely sterile white kitchen with stainless steel appliances, with one piece of artwork, with a baby in blood playing with a phallic device. That's the one piece of art in his kitchen.
So gross.
Everything else sterile white, stainless steel.
So gross. And when you
And
start looking back into this, it's like into the parasites, and you look at like people like that doing such deviant things, they're overtaken. And when you look at them with your eyes like this, like kind of like we're doing with their eyes, like with EMDR, if you like look at their eyes as you're passing, you can see that they're black, really messed up. You're just like,
mm-hmm.
ugh, like it's like you're literally taken over. Blech.
Yeah, I've seen that where you look in somebody's eyes and you're like, oh boy.
That too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Too.
Eh, Uh,
And you're like, ugh. Yeah. So it's this got me settled and got me out of my Hollywood workaholic pattern that I was in. Which
mhm,
granted, I want to give myself kudos. I did it. I've got great movies. I did it. I protected them. It took me years. I'm like they're in the waterfall. It's happening. I'm just like, oh, I did it. Successful. But I'm not gonna, I no longer will stay in that world ever. I'm not giving my energy to that. I don't have any desire to be in that. But I still make movies. And this, I did write a movie called A Rare Human about all this. and it has been
Mhm.
sitting there. And when I found this out, that I was like, wait, I wrote a sci-fi about this. Hold on a minute. This is getting
Mhm.
weird. So I was like, it's all too weird to be weird anymore. And when you think about the programming, that it's a repeat, like it's a repeat of the 60s, it's a repeat of the whatever pig flu or whatever flu la 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 they had back in the
Mhm.
day. Like they terrify people, get them to put the poison in their body that helps them live more. And it's just on repeat, repeat, repeat,
Mhm.
repeat. And when you see that, that's actually crazier
Mhm.
than the truth.
But people will fight to stay in the cult and
Yeah.
fight for the cult's survival just because the fear of change is greater.
Yep. And also I since I've been talking about this, because once I saw that, I was like, I can't shut up about it. That's probably why they told me. But
Saw that being
the matrix of parasites.
oh
Like once
we, we,
once you
oh
once
once you learn of it, not see it, because you can't see it.
well, yeah, when I learned of it.
Yeah.
And it changes everything. It really it's like, huh. Then you really we that is the spiritual war. The spiritual war is in our auras and our energies to
Mhm.
not be hijacked and
To not
controlled
be
and dumbed
demoralized.
down. And this was the first step to the mark of the beast, which is going to go in the hand for the chip.
Hmm.
And it's all biblical. This is like all biblical. And this is the synagogue of Satan. And you're just like, damn. But they left a bunch of parts out of the Bible. And the reason they left it out is because if we knew that we can just laugh, laugh, be joyous, and live like Jesus, then you're good. Like you just
Mhm.
live a, in the ascended state. Don't live like, oh, lowly sinner, please. Like you're worshiping Jesus, more like you are have the Jesus consciousness in you. You're just like you're above
Use
it.
it as an archetype.
Yeah. And you're step into it. I do that. Like I step into it and just be in it. Like be in it, being in love. Like I'm in love. I'm like, I feel in love all day. Like I'm in love. So that energy propels them away. And then because I've just heard these child sexual abuse stories for so many years, and I've been given the gift and the honor to hear all these stories, but also it gets really old after a while. You're like, oh God, another one and another one and another one and another one. And once I learned of this matrix and their most delicious food is that,
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh hell no. Oh hell no. So if we have to do, you know, whatever. I'm gonna go on tour. I'm gonna do comedy in churches. I'm gonna get people having
Hmm.
sacred sex in churches and healing their sex lives and laughing more. So I'm gonna do my sacred circuses. And now with my sacred circuses where I have people dancing and moving, and now it's like, oh my God, all that stuff I was doing and not even realizing I was helping on that level. Now implementing real quantum healing and also parasite killing. It's like
Hmm.
my circus is really fun. It comes with a lot of porta potties. Because
Oh, for the parasites.
when you have the little spot and you
Yeah.
dance around, you might have to
Uh,
you might have to relieve yourself.
are you familiar with Joe Dispenza's work?
Of course, yeah.
Hmm.
So imagine if Joe Dispenza, I thought, and Neville Goddard and all of that manifestation. Imagine like the manifestation is relinking to your light source exactly what they've all spoken about. But now that you know that layer of the matrix, it blows my mind. It really blows my mind. It makes manifesting seem easier, actually.
Hmm.
So you're in matrix. I'm fascinated, and I'm also, oh hell no. Like that
Hmm.
lit a fire under me. I'm like, I ain't playing with you. I am.
When when did you start doing all the clove and wormwood and all of that? Or when did you have this meeting with the guy? Weeks, months ago?
Weeks
We,
ago.
yeah,
I think
weeks ago, because we
April
talked a few
24th.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I
I
would
did
love to I would
it.
love to get him on a stream to
Yeah.
try to expound on it. Um,
Fascinating. Just like
yeah.
you're like, uh, and then when you start seeing it like energetically, and like I said, I did a big one for the weekend. Like I was going after a queen, and today I killed a queen too. And when you're killing a queen because it's really emotional.
Mm,
It's like it's almost like a battle, and old weird stuff, like old thoughts from years ago you're not even thinking about, like old things to
mhm.
get thrown in your brain to try to get you upset.
And one thing to note
Like,
about,
what?
yeah, about that is I think so many people try to hold on to the emotion and analyze it, put it into the analytical brain, and then some people fall into the, oh, I'm gonna feel like this forever. You just gotta let the emotion rip through you. An emotion's not going to kill you. So it's better to just let it flow out without judgment, because as soon
Yep.
as you start judging that emotion, then it can grip on and hang out longer in you. Better to just let them rip through. And don't worry about where the emotion came from. You're not always going to feel like that. I mean, how good do you feel after a cry, for
Yeah.
example? And I just feel like a lot of people don't manage the upswell of emotions
Yeah.
well.
Me traveling all these years, 20 years on the road ish, I saw that most people are afraid to cry or get angry. It's either
Hmm.
one. So it's like the women who are like they can cry at anything, like me, like you can show me a puppy commercial, I'm gonna cry. We had problems getting in touch with our anger. And then the
Hmm.
angry women that you see, or men, it's not anybody, the angry that you see them and they're like, I'm gonna cut you. Like they're like I'm angry. Those people usually are afraid to cry. Because if they think they're gonna start crying, they think they're gonna cry a river for 15 years. And the
Hmm.
women who are like, cry, hoo, hoo, that they think if they touch their anger, they will be Tasmanian devils because they have so much anger. So it's
Hmm.
like, so doing these exercises that I'm developing, I've been doing it for years, but now I'm developing it so where I can do it with an immersive experience with a large crowd. So you actually cry and scream and yell, and you're doing it with the music. And so I need you to do it
Hmm.
to have my performance be better. So I need you to do it. So I'm actually tricking you.
And that's a great idea to do it with music too, so that
Yep,
there's other noise and
yep,
make it loud so that people aren't self-conscious about,
exactly, exactly.
crying, yelling, screaming,
And using
whatever.
all music and instruments that the parasites hate. They hate happy, they hate banjo, they hate harmonica, they hate anything that's like, yeah. And gongs, bells. Oh my God. Then research
Hmm.
how they destroyed the bells and they took away all the bells.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
So get bells and start banging them. Like
Yeah. During World War One and Two, they
bells.
they got rid. They smashed all the bells, buried the bells. And who built those massive bells?
I don't know.
Some of these bells were enormous and probably extremely old as well.
And the
Hmm.
bells resonance because it's all about vibrate your frequency. So when you're
Hmm.
resonating at a high frequency, which apparently I do, like they can't come near you. But then when you start getting into the drugs or the drinking or the bad or the talking therapy, where they get people to tell the story over and over and over. Now that
Hmm.
when you see this, you see these guys, they're like, yeah, tell the story again. I like eating it. I like so
It's sick. Well, but that is just like big pharma. It's totally hijacked. There's no reason to go to modern psychotherapy. I'll say a caveat. Like, there's a few of them. If the psychologist psychiatrist doesn't have a plan to get you in and out in 2 weeks with a new
Jeez.
with a new skill, no, I'm serious. If there's not like we're gonna do this, and this, and then you're done, they're it's not legit.
Yeah, they're looking.
You should not be going to the same psychiatrist for 25 years.
That's what people
That's
do, and they're
a
paying them
total
200 bucks a
scam.
week. 200
A
bucks a
total
week.
scam. And
25.
then you get into the point where it doesn't behoove them to help you because they want you to come back.
Is that when Spider-Man 2 when Peter rang the bell in that church and the parasite hates it? See? That's
Mhm.
another thing. They do these things in movies because with that belief. It's like spiritual law or belief. They have to tell you what they're doing. They have to leave the breadcrumbs. You have to just figure it out.
Yeah, they have to tell you. Yeah, that's one of the keys of Satanism or whatever
And you have to
you want
give
to call them.
consent. Oh, that was the other thing that I learned from Arnett. He's like, it's all about we have given consent. So you give consent by taking the, or by eating, or by watching, you have given consent. So a practice in our spiritual work is to stomp your feet, clap your hands, and just be like, I cancel all contracts that I made knowingly or unknowingly. My contract is with God. I work for God only. I work for Source only. It's eight. So all those 10 revival meetings of like, holy, holy, hallelujah. Like that's medicine.
And in
Literal
Qigong,
medicine.
you clap your elbow creases, you clap
You
your
can heal in 2 weeks. You can heal instantly, my friend.
you clap your armpits, you clap your elbow creases, so that's yeah, yeah, and it's to move lymph and
Yes.
yeah.
The lymph that you've told me forever that I haven't really done until now, because
Hmm.
now I know that to flush them out of your body, it's the lymph. So to
Correct.
flush them out, and then also to do, colon. I've done the enema. I've done the coffee enema. I've put in the garlic up my butt.
Woo.
I know. I'm taking clay baths, like clay, the clay.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
doing the activated charcoal, the benedite clay. Like I'm
Hmm.
doing all of it. It's like you prepared me to hear this information, because I think if I'd heard this
But
information
you needed a
before,
target outside of you for it to all link together.
oh yeah, once I had the enemy, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Molly Shannon, I met her one time. We were on a plane together and a party together with my friend Scott, and I told her that everybody compares me to her. It was
Molly
very
Shannon.
fun. Molly Shannon. I also bought a house from the other lady who was on Saturday Night Live, Amy Schumer.
Chuck Schumer's daughter.
I forget which
I hope you saged
printer.
that house.
Yeah, seriously. Amy
Who?
Printer is some one that was in the around the 2000s. She was on Saturday
Okay.
Night Live. I bought her
Well,
house.
Amy Schumer is the actress, Chuck
Yeah,
Schumer's daughter.
I don't think that's the one that was on Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah, I don't think so, but maybe she was. I'm not. I don't follow that
Religion
closely.
is poison. Religion goal is to keep you from connected to God. Actually, you're not wrong. That's
Hmm.
actually true. That's a
Well, especially if it's been hijacked since 1651.
it's been hijacked since like Atlantis. Like we're going old, old, old. And the reason that they said in the that Arnett says in the Vatican, they're hiding that Jesus was real. Jesus actually did, like, all of that is real. It's just they kept it away of actually you really listening to what he was saying. Like if you really listen to what Jesus was saying, the red parts of the Bible, not the fear and anger and that you're a lowly sinner, because if you're a
Mm,
lowly sinner, they're eating you. But if you
mm,
just live on presence and you have the kingdom of God within and you're living in joy, happiness, and freedom, you don't need the church.
mm.
You don't need to give them money. You don't need to have the priest hurting your kids.
And I don't know. I don't go to a lot of church, but have you ever noticed when you go to church they play emotionally manipulative music?
Depends on which church, but yeah, for
They
sure.
try to bring you down in the beginning of the service and then lift
Raise
you
you
back
up.
up.
See, this
Hmm.
is why I like old school tent revival meetings, and that's what my events are. So which and the beat goes on, says, ha ha ha, I have no idea what I'm watching, but now I'm here. It's like, what have you fallen into? Parasites and celery. Do you want to know why I have this celery? Do you want to laugh forever
And the
every
beat
single
goes
time you see
on.
celery? Jerome, see, that is the lie. What you just wrote is a lie and a program by the parasites to keep you in the feeling that you are bad.
Hmm.
That
Which
is
is
like,
shame and
yeah,
guilt and all
read
of that.
the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. That's like, wow. Anyway, so you want to laugh every single time you see this, every time you see celery? You ready? I've told you this already, but this is for new people, Sean. Now this is for "And the Beat Goes On," so that every time he sees celery, he will laugh. Are you ready for "And the Beat That Goes On"? So I was having do it fast. So I was having a group. I have groups every week. One is when we clean up our stuff together, clean up your poo poo or your life shit together, not your actual poo poo. Although
Is
now I will talk about poo poo and parasites.
is she on the stream?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And so I was like, you have to really be. I hear folks saying good things about Jesus. That's positive. I love Jesus. So I was having a meeting about how we're spending our time. It's really important. How are you spending your time and what are you putting in your mouth and coming out of your mouth? And so with me, you can always be super honest about everything. There's no shame. I have no judgment. You can lay it out there. And one thing that people talk to me about privately, and also why I work with men so much, is getting you off the corn and getting you into more sacred dick medicine and sacred sex. And and also the ladies are turning on the little thingies that have batteries, and
Too
they're
many gizmos.
too many gizmos, and they're numbing themselves, and that also keeps you away from like sacred. And Jean said, "Oh, we can talk about that." And I was like, "Yes, you can talk about all of it. That's the whole point." And she said, "Have you tried celery?" I just still think it's so funny. And then well, no, I have not tried celery. Now she is celeryqueenjean.com. I was like, Jean, you have to buy celeryqueenjean.com. And
Is,
I'm
is their website up there?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've already
I
sent
don't.
money.
I don't want to know.
I'm literally no. It's just
No.
I love it so much.
She doesn't call it her spicy site, does she?
I love it. So
No,
I love it.
Pat.
I love it. I love it. So now every single time I see this, anytime I see celery, I know I eat celery all the time. I laugh my ass off because it is so funny, and it's also so representative of how we spend our time incorrectly. You know what I mean? Like you're spending your time doing that. It's really complicated. And I was like, Jean, how? And she goes, I'm really resourceful. I was like, Dad! I'm like, I've ascended in laughter already. I love it. So, but then I started researching it. Guess what? In the 1800s, before allopathic medicine took over, guess what they had on their tables in celery vases? If you go look up celery vases on eBay, they're like $400. They're gorgeous because celery was considered the like almighty killer of everything, like because it was killing parasites. And it was also so good for you, and it was like you were considered full. You were a full if you have celery. So now we're doing celery soldiers. We're having a celery event in Waco. I'm going to do comedy with Jean. Thanks, Jean. Exactly. Thank you, Jean. See now. And the beat goes on. If you're laughing at this and you're going to laugh for the rest of your life every single time you see celery, please go give Jean money. Just go give her $20 or something because it's so damn funny. Like it's celery's anti-cancer. Celery it kills parasites. It helps you lose weight. It's you can do all kinds of other things with celery.
It's too much. You could do too much with celery.
And I go like this. I was like, Jean. And she goes, well, you have to be careful. I can't. And then look, this is a great whip to like be like, y'all out of my aura. And you know, like the Thai whips, like
it's to move lymph.
Exactly. And also, move lymph and clean out egg sacs and
egg sacs.
All those parasites are laying eggs, and they have egg sacs. And when you start doing cleanses, you will see the worst of worst. If you've ever had a high colonic where they put it up, it's like an enema, but you see what's coming out in the tube. It is not for the weak. Listen, it's not for the weak. When you see little like egg sacs, and then the no, I know.
How big are these egg sacs?
It's
because I have done that twice and I didn't notice anything.
Oh,
2
Well, good
times.
for you. Have you done a high colonic where you seen the little thing?
Yeah, where they
You
hook
got
you
a
up to the
clean system
machine.
then.
I had a pack of 3. I was like, I'm gonna try it 3 times. I never went back for the third one. I was like, that's enough. But I didn't see anything. I didn't notice any difference either.
Huh. Interesting. Boy, I did. So,
But
you
I
eat pretty clean though.
for a
And you
long time,
yeah, for a
pretty
long time.
clean,
So
other than
your intestines are probably pretty clean.
and no beer or
You don't drink.
alcohol for
Yeah.
like, and then when I used to drink, it was very little.
Yeah. So I
Well, other than when I was very young, but yeah.
well, supposedly Arnett, when we went deep into the parasites, and he actually helps people get off of all pharma and the parasites. And his thing, he said, the thing to always have on hand, if I had one thing, if I could only take one thing in my bag, it would be cayenne pepper. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, noted, note to self. So when I make my little drinks, I make like a fake beer with this. I'll put lemon and cayenne in it now.
I used to do a lot of cayenne. I used to eat so much heat. And then I tried to eliminate nightshades from my diet because cayenne's a nightshade. But
Mm.
I have read a lot lately about positive things of nightshades. So I'm going to add cayenne back in.
Yeah, he said well, because if you think about it, it's kind of like we're in a vampire, battle. Where you got the garlic, you got the you got the garlic, I got the celery, I got
Hmm.
you know, I started making my redneck revolution sprays. I've got sprays, I've got ointments. And then, oh, by the way,
Is that on the website?
not yet, no, because I've made them in my travel thing, in my travel
Mhm.
kitchen. And I'm making a celery soldiers one sheet to be like what to have in your pantry, what kills them, when to kill the queen, that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna make it like super easy and fun in this crazy sci-fi
Mm.
movie that we're not really talking about the real truth. Oh, oh my god. Also, I don't know. So what was he saying? Arnett said, oh, you have to look back into the first time you took pharma and the first time you had processed horrible food, like the Pop Tart, the all. And I was like, God, that was my whole childhood. And he's like, well,
What do you mean you have to look back to?
look back into the parasites. So you got to think like you got one in that time, and it didn't leave.
Hmm.
So it has a little web and it's got little eggs and it's got a communication system. And whatever you had emotionally bad that happened is attached to that little worm. And so they'll attach the emotion. So they'll keep sending you information to the ones in your brain to be like, oh, you're sad.
Mm.
Remember that time? Why don't you tell your friend that story again?
Mm.
Yeah, and so it's keeping you sad, sad, sad sack, and they're eating it. I mean,
Because they want to generate that negative emotion because that's what they feed off of.
they feed off of. And poison is the light. So imagine like they hijacked us like as light beings, and we're just wonderful little delicious light beings. But the delicious part is if the light is in despair. That's what they eat. It's actually kind of fascinating. And
Mm.
what's crazy is if you look at your buddy, it's not your buddy, but you talk about him on your rides, L. Ron Hubbard with Scientology.
Hmm.
So in Scientology, all he must have found out this and then wrote the sci-fi version, and it's
Well,
like Satan's
I tell everybody about that like because everybody laughs so hard about Scientology, but when you read some of the stuff, you're like, okay, the way that he presents it might be outlandish,
yeah.
but the information in it is not wrong. I'm not saying all of it, but I'm saying it makes sense in some regards. I mean, a lot of sense actually.
It makes a lot. Well, imagine he probably got some access to this information, made a fake story about it, and then
Mhm.
changed it enough. Like he put it in volcanoes but still, like all the little
Xenu,
things eating your bad energy
archons.
is still
Is that
pretty.
what he uses, archons, or is that a?
I don't think so. That's like the name of one of them. that's the name of one of them. That's the energetic one.
Mm.
And then there's all kinds of other ones that are, they work together. It's a little,
And another thing too that's important to note is
I may
thinking of
disagree, but I still love you. Hey, if you want to live with parasites giving you negative thoughts in your head, you go right ahead.
thinking of these
I love
things.
Jesus.
One thing to note is we see 0.1% of the light energy around us. So we see very little of what is around us. I mean, we don't see
Sure, the archon, yeah.
microwaves. You don't see the light rays coming out of your cell phone or your pocket computer, you know. So there's 99.9% of what is around us we cannot see.
Yep. And then when you
But
start doing like when you go next level, it is turning off your phone like you do. You don't have it in your bedroom. You put it in one of those little EMT thing or whatever they're called, the little
I mean, I'd
bag.
like to say I do it 100% perfect all the time, but yeah, I mean, I don't have a cell phone charger in my bedroom, so the idea is that I leave them downstairs, stuff like
Yes.
that.
The beat goes on. Yes. According to my, yeah, it's all true. All the conspiracy theories
Are the
are all true. It's
reptilian
all true.
theory?
It's like it's all true. Not talking about terrorists, but what I said earlier. Yeah, that you said you're a sinner, and it's like the whole concept of you're a sinner is put in to you being not your brightest light, not infinitely connected with God. You're a sinner. It's like that is intentional.
Hmm.
How perfect.
Well, any
Like,
way to make you feel bad,
exactly.
because then
And
you're more controllable.
exactly.
So
And
whether the parasites or whatever are real, not real, all the mechanisms that we're
yes,
speaking about would have the same result.
seriously. This guy, it's dad who let this woman out of the kitchen. I actually traveled
Where?
the kitchen,
Who
dork.
let this woman out of the
It's
kitchen?
funny. Playing an instrument is definitely a great way to unplug from the BS. Yes, yes, yes. And the more fun the instrument, the better.
That's kind of funny, Dad.
The
I'm not gonna lie.
banjos. But who let me out of the kitchen?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm out of the bedroom too. Weird. I'll be in the bedroom and the kitchen at the same time, and you'll
Where
never.
else do you need to be?
Dad coming in hot. Yeah, Dad really is wanting to making friends. Dad's really
Uh,
into making friends. Only Jesus was perfect and did not sin. That's an indoctrinated person. I love you. Like Jesus is perfect, and so are you.
mhm.
That is that's the story. The programming is you're worthless, you're nobody, you're sinner, you're la la la. I don't even want to say it out of my mouth. I don't. It's like she better be barefoot. Dork. Look at. I take it you don't get amazing sacred sex, Dad. I wish
Secret sex?
sacred.
Oh,
Wish
sacred.
that for you.
But I
So
mean, yeah. What a
what? You
hundred
in
years?
the kitchen in the bedroom?
No, no. I'm just saying, what percentage of women would be happy doing that?
I sin.
Because 100 years ago,
I'll be in the kitchen in the bedroom all day long.
the only thing I want to say is it is unclear if men and women can work together successfully because that is a last 100 years development that never happened before.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Celery?
No,
Oh,
working.
working together.
That's not
There's
true. That's
evidence to suggest it's not. There's definitely evidence to suggest it's not. I'm not giving an opinion on that because I actually don't know. I don't have one, but it's thought experiment. Do I need to read these chats? Hold on.
yeah, Chris goes.
Better be
Goes
very.
on says people pay good money for bare feet. I just don't get that. And you're just putting them there, piggies on display for free.
I feel like that's just an ongoing joke. Nobody's making huge money on feet pics.
Bullshit.
You think so?
Bullshit. I know so. I've never. I don't know what you're talking about. No, just kidding. I've actually met women at the like the salon places where you get your the nail places, and struck up conversations, and they're getting their nails done because they make $500 a week or whatever showing their feet, and there's some mom.
Okay, $500 a week, sure. I'm just saying not big money.
$500 a week to a single mom is big money.
I'm not saying there's. I mean,
Yeah, but you mean like 100 grand or something with your feet? I have no
yeah.
idea.
Because what's the thing? Like
For the
the
people that like really like it, it's like something that's like, and mine talk. I can move, and I put little like. I did do a joke where I put little finger puppets on them, and I made them talk. I made them lay in bed like a little. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? And I was like, "You want a feet? You want a feet video? That's gonna be my feet video." Oh God, dude! One of my best friends loves feet. Something about sexualizing something that isn't sexual. I guess apparently it's a thread in the brain that's like right next to the sex. It's like it got like rewired or something. It's like you're sexy in your brain. The people who like feet, their sexy thought pattern is like right next to the foot pups. It's actually a brain thing, apparently.
if you believe the
Feet.
scans from
That would be big money for me.
modern medicine.
I'll take $500 a week, but I don't want to spend the time doing my feet.
You can tell how well put together someone's structure is by their feet. But I'm not sexualizing it. I'm just saying, like if you got bunions and everything's all jammed up, then you get a bad hip. You got a bad hip
What about my
if
knees?
that's going on.
Ow.
Knees?
What about my knees? Oh.
Knees a dumb joint.
I've been on them too long, Dad.
If what did he say? Right where you should be? The dad that would be a fast one. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. I was just like,
British.
Wow. Lily Allen, British pop star, makes $100,000 a year. Just
Okay,
to
fine. But my point was like, the top whatever percent are paid better than NFL players. I'm just saying, feet aren't getting you into the NFL numbers. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Well, apparently it's a thing. I haven't dove into that. I haven't dove into the feet thing.
Other than
and I love
toe puppets.
Gene, did you see that comment? The beat goes on, says he's more into celery now than feet.
You never be on them too. It's Dad coming through.
Okay, so I'll do an advertisement. Ready? This is my advertisement for everybody.
Chewing the celery.
This is my advertisement. I now have the whole what's the word? Conveyor belt of sourcing, creation, marketing, bookkeeping, the whole thing for you to create your products from an idea, and then your product lives in the world and it's selling while you and I are still doing our play exercise. And I'm going to do one with Gene. We're going to make a celery, like it's going to be like a light. Like I want it to be like a light up light that plays like meditative music or something. And it can be used to, swat things kind of like this, but more
lymphatic drainage.
Yeah, lymphatic. So I now have the whole system. So to do fun things that make the world better, like this, I can now do that, and I'm very excited. I don't want to help anybody do their products that's like not, it has to be helping the world in a better place, making everybody laugh.
What happened?
You see?
What does that represent? What am I
Are
missing?
you kidding me, Sean? This isn't your friend? This isn't your friend.
I hear the Russian accent. What are you talking about? Please.
This is your friend.
Please explain.
This is your little friend. I have to explain this to you for real? What is this? This is the little celery
Looks like
man.
you broke a piece of
It's
celery
a
almost
little
all the way
celery
off.
man. Imagine it's a little celery man. He likes you.
It's gay celery.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I love it. So this makes me laugh. So this is like the laughing. So anyway, I can do products now, and mine is on the way. Excuse me. Good Lord, if I live. Is on the way. Should be here in like 10 days. Just got the label put on.
The label put on which?
My invention.
Oh, that's still the
The holy
multi-purpose.
shift. We got our name. It's the holy shift because it's a bunch of holes. And it's also holy. So like the holy shift spelled funny. And
So it's not what was I forget the original.
reformer.
That was the original name.
Yeah, because there's a
This
reformer.
is the convertible dress thing.
This is my dress that can be a deer blind
Okay.
or a bag or a
Yeah.
blanket. It's like the multifunctional,
Yeah.
which is now even more awesome because it's made out of material. It's made out of bamboo, which apparently is a blocker for parasites.
I didn't know
And
that.
like wearing polyester and stuff, don't do it because it helps the plastic against your body helps them live. I mean, now it's like, what is this? Water SpongeBob voice.
Look at the chat. What are you talking about?
Because on Sergey Celery.
I meant to smell like
This
a
is
donut.
Sergey Celery. He's like, hey, baby. Hey, baby. Wait, hey, call me so I can show you my celery. You've been mean in the chat, Trey.
Bruh,
So
coming back.
Listen. If you can talk to me about higher minded things, I'll see your celery. Made me choke.
Any other matters we want to discuss
Oh,
before we hit
Except
the 2-hour mark?
Except parasites and celery. Yeah, good. I just wanted to tell you that. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
My biggest, like, the biggest mind, like, switch is that it's queens. It's a different way to look at it. It's like, so all this whole divide, even Jerome, like all this, like, oh, we're sinners. We're, lower than, we're meant to be in this program that's like controlled by the church. That's not really the church. The church is like not the church. You know what I mean?
It's putting you in a low-level emotional state.
Exactly. So that they could feed on you.
Or then they can give you something to be angry about, and then now you're a human weapon. You'll go to war, or
Yeah.
Back in the day it was actual war. Exactly. Now it's go to war for an idea.
Exactly.
Right.
Parasites and celery. I'm crying. It's great. I love you, Jean, so much. Jean changed my life. Seriously. Jean put me on a spiritual path. I was already on one. She accelerated it.
I see what you did there.
I
see what you did.
She accelerated it. Yeah, church is in the heart. Church is outside, and my church is. I mean, I went today and went to the park and walked barefoot on the earth and put my feet in the water and stuck my head and dunked my head in the water, and I have like that's my church. And putting that time on my calendar was the biggest flex that I learned from
outside time.
God time, or like solo time, quiet time, solo, quiet, no talking, just you and that's floating in the water for me, and walking meditations, barefoot on the ground to be grounded.
And without endless chatter in your mind.
Yeah, no chatter, no listening to anything, just being present, ideally out in nature, is my church personally. Like, and then add a hammock and a campfire and a tent. I mean, we're talking.
Even better.
Or
an RV.
I like the tent better than RV, but I like your RV because you can get there and then sleep outside.
For sure.
I like it.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
also, side note, I also found out a lot more about the, um, I don't know if I say it on here, about being fully free. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, I heard a little bit of. We'll have to do some chats about that. I think as we do it, we should you know chat about that here
Yeah.
as the steps actually happen and it starts to work. Although that may have to go off of most of these sites
Yep. Because
because
you,
that's really messing with power. So
well, imagine just for a second that they're actually taxing us, taking all the money, taking all the energy so that they can fund their cities underneath that they are
mhm.
hurting children.
And you heard about the 21 trillion that was redirected for those purpose. 21 trillion. And you know that Lamar Hunt, the owner of the Chiefs, the ones that are constantly at the top in the NFL,
Yeah.
owns a ridiculous amount of underground space.
That's gross.
Hmm.
That's really gross.
Hmm.
And then Jerome says we strive to be as holy as Jesus was. If striving is what you want to do, go right ahead. I
Yeah, well, we were talking about that earlier. If you use it as an archetype, that's a really powerful tool.
yeah,
Tool, but don't. Yeah.
I'm being. Thumbs, the downfall of man has been disconnecting himself from the mother nature and shutting himself up in churches. Yeah, well, yeah, you're not
Hmm.
wrong. That was definitely intentional, especially when you look at it. This is old. This is old,
Hmm.
and and we're at a move right now. We either wake the hell up and see it and like actually expand our light and heal our shit real fast. Like you're done, you're healed up, you're good, and you're bright light, or we get totally taken over by the bad AI.
Nothing in between. Hmm. I see what you're saying.
I mean, I personally see everybody talking about the golden age and the golden awakening. Like I see it, I feel it, and I also feel that when people, a large majority of people, when they see the truth, it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on that earlier. A lot of people will fear change too much to even they'll shut it out. They'll shut out the truth because they fear change too much.
Because they're programmed. And then Jerome, one should not think lowly of themselves. Yes, exactly. But you
Hmm.
said you're a sinner. Okay. So yes and yes. Then Trey, you're so pretty. I would believe anything you say. Listen, don't put people on pedestals because everybody has gas. If you're so pretty, I believe anything you say. So I love you. That's if you want to believe that. I love you. I love you. I love you. You're awesome. And I see your light. Shine it more. What's your recommendation on full detox? I apologize. Let's tell you. So I started my comedy cooking show again today, actually, and
Hmm.
and it's going to be PDC, Parasite Death Comedy, and the main trifecta to kill them are cloves, black walnut, and woodworm. Let's say it
Wormwood.
wormwood. I'm dyslexic. No, not even a hold of that. Wormwood, black walnut, cloves, and of course celery. Yeah, exactly. Somebody's paying
Heyo.
attention. And that's the like trifecta to kill them. But then you make your body a hostile environment for them.
Hmm.
Like so, I have just coming off like a 5-day fast right now. So I had chicken broth that I canned myself, that I put celery in.
Why not?
With some really good mushrooms, and I put ginger, oregano, thyme. Oh, and another one I forgot to tell you that is in my arsenal that also kills them. That's also biblical is gold, myrrh, and frankincense.
Gold.
Myrrh, frankincense, and gold. Yeah, liquid gold.
Mm.
And I think I think this is more to waken up your other layers.
Gold? I've
Yeah.
never taken gold. I have taken silver.
Shroomies. I have done shroomies. I like shroomies. I also like all kinds of shroomies. But this liquid gold is really amazing. This stuff, I noticed a big difference
Hmm.
with it. So, so that's biblical. What they bring baby Jesus? Myrrh and frankincense. Guess what kills parasites? Myrrh and frankincense.
Hmm.
So I took um, coconut, like coconut oil, well, not the oil, but the salve, and I mixed it up with clove, black walnut, wormwood, frankincense, myrrh, and liquid gold, and I put castor oil in it and coconut oil, and that's my little secret, like
And
not
and
secret, but
coconut
that's my
like solidifies at room temperature coconut?
yeah, yeah, and it gets like a little paste,
Yeah.
and I take that paste and put it because they'll start leaving your body, like up by your it's disgusting. And so I put it around my
Hmm.
body and on your butthole, do it. And around, around your so when they exit, it also kills them. Shut up. I just can't even with this. I can't. But it works. And what I will warn you though, when you start doing the
Hmm.
cleansing, it's spiritual. It's a spiritual and emotional. So when like I have had like major like old stuff that you're hanging on to that you just have a little bleh. Thank God I didn't puke. I pooped.
Frankincense, by the way, smells great. You can just dab it on your neck or whatever.
Myrrh does too.
Yeah, I just use that for scent sometimes.
Yeah, so I just have my whole
Kind
little
of wakes
arsenal. I
you
have my
up
whole little
too. I put it on my scalp too. A
yep.
little tiny bit of clove on the scalp kind of burns. Clove used to be the main ingredient in icy hot before they made it with all chemicals. So clove kind of
Go
heats
fig
up the skin and irons out the
yep.
muscles.
Wormwood. So imagine wormwood back in the day, they used to plant it in front of their houses and at the back
Mm,
doors. Go figure. So now I'm going to hunt myself down some wormwood plants and put them on my
mm,
porch.
that's a good idea. I've got a
Also, comfrey,
yeah.
comfrey is so good.
It's great for
So
aches
also
and
lemon,
pains and
excuse me,
for
lemon and
breaks and ligament damage. Comfrey.
comfrey is amazing, amazing, amazing. So I'm on an oregano too. So what
Oregano
I'm going to
cannot
do
be taken long term.
just in
Yeah, you can
bouts,
take it for a few
that is
months at a
strong.
time at the most, and then you want to get
Woo!
off of it.
Super,
And like I said before,
super, super
clove, you got to
strong.
be a little bit careful because of the liver,
Right.
and it
So
can make you
strong.
nauseous.
I felt that. I felt that during the queen time because I was after it to kill the queen
Oh
during the
yeah.
full moon.
So how do you know you got the queen out, and how do you know you killed the queen?
Well, this happened twice, and it is major movement in my body. Like it's somebody's mad and trying to escape out of your body. And I was like, oh, please, Jesus, tell me that this is not going to come out of my body like alien. Please don't tell me. And they're like, no, it will dissipate and it'll eventually die and go out your. And she really has that too. And what are you saying, Trey? Ooh, that's
Oh,
funny.
Trey's back.
He's Trey's back. And so uh I noticed it with the emotions, the vivid dreams, and the old emotions that had come up, the old potential triggers that aren't any triggers anymore because you're on your regenerate and you're balanced. But when you're killing a queen, old
Hmm.
memories mainly. That's like the key is when you're like, ooh, and you know that it was brutal. Like, and I've got one now that I've been like, literally today was. I'm like, you're dying, lady. You're killing me. You ain't living in me. No,
Are you
like,
talking? Are you
and
talking about you
I
get like stomach churning and stomach noises?
all of that and up in here, I got it around my back. I had like it was a mutiny in my body. It was so. It's been for the past 5 days of this hardcore cleanse I'm on. It's been otherworldly, let's just say that. And then when you see what you poop,
I've never seen anything. I'm happy to not have seen anything.
seriously, you are. Seriously. And then I've done the high colonic too, like I said, and you see it. Oh
I've
my
heard of
God. Oh
people
my God.
saying that they've seen worms in their dookie.
Oh,
Is that what you're talking
oh my
about?
God.
Worms?
Yeah,
Whew.
worms. Yeah. Yeah, worms. And it's covered in poo poo. So it's like when stringy poo poo. And it's not like a banana, it's like a stringy poo poo. And they're all clustered together.
Mm.
If you go look it up, then I'm not sifting through my poop, but you can tell, like, if you were to clean that off, that is all little worms holding on to each other.
Ew. Ew.
Ew is right. Ew, it's like next level ew. But the worst for me are these ones. That to me is the next level ew of like what they've got, the little suckies, the little straws that they're sucking the bad energy, the anger and rage and despair is their most delicious. But that makes me the most sick. And I'm just like, ugh.
That ain't cool.
Anyway, it's a great reason to be happy, to laugh, and to love people.
Live, laugh, love.
Yay. And like, I ain't playing with you.
Hmm.
And you eradicate child abusers.
Eradicate the child abusers.
Which I'm just all about it. I'm all about it. So I love it. I'm like, kill child predators by killing the parasites in your body. It will affect everything else, trust me. Because imagine, like, it's like, it's like a web of a matrix, and as we clear it out in our own little section, we're not having it. It's not in my world. Then other people do it, and it's like, you raise the and energy and love of the planet. Really, you do quantum healing, Joe Dispenza style. Imagine Joe Dispenza starts doing meditations that also take out parasites. Like, I would love if people like him knew this.
Well, again, that's what I was saying. Whether it's literal or figurative parasites, it doesn't matter. All of these things will
Yeah.
work. The thing that I was pointing out, the reason why I brought up Dispenza earlier, was he gets huge groups of people together and then puts them all into parasympathetic dominant states together. So when you're in a
That's
room
cool.
with all of that parasympathetic dominant state, that has to be very healing. That's one of the
Yeah.
things he does.
That's awesome. Yeah. And that says, did Daniel Intel's fast bring higher enlightenment? I don't know about Daniel Intel's fast, but I would say any fast brings higher enlightenment. Fasting does. I mean, I've never,
Well,
I wouldn't say I've ever fasted in my life, because I have the story that I always have to eat.
yeah, I think the important thing to note about fasting is that nothing really happens until after 36 hours.
Of no
Right, because a lot of
nothing.
people be like, "Oh, I'm fasting. I eat once a day," and it's like, no, you didn't. That's not long enough. Minimum 36 hours for stuff to
Yeah,
start
I've done,
happening. Your
and I've noticed some.
vision will improve. Um, Once you get kind of past 36, 48 hours, then you feel great. Making sure that you're consuming enough salt and enough minerals, salt,
Mhm.
magnesium. You can even take amino acids, not protein, but amino acids, and that won't affect your fast.
Oh, and also back to you with your carnivore diet with
Mm-hmm.
ketones. The ketones kill the parasites. Hate that.
Mm-hmm. And ketones, even in medical, Western medicine, have been proven to heal you.
There you go. And then the parasites are the illness.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, every illness is some kind of parasite. You're just like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was my announcement today. I'm
And
glad. Thank you
getting
for coming.
sick, quote unquote sick, when you feel sick, that's just when your detox system is overloaded.
I felt that. I felt that on Sunday or whatever day when we came home. I was so down because I was in like full on, I'm gonna kill you, mother.
Whoa.
I'm a cute. My body is only for
You are
God.
feeling anger.
Nothing is allowed. And then my mom was like, well, can't you just be friends with him and give him a task? They could be like, the garbage collectors or something. I'm like, I'm thinking you got to kill him.
Eradicate. What?
But they could be telling you, why don't you become friends with me? Keep me in here. Thank you for playing. Bye bye. You're out now. I ain't playing with you. Okay. It's been pretty funny to do like walking prayers like that. Like, I don't really care if you see me and you're like, who is the lunatic? She starts dance floors. She has a celery wand. I've got a sword.
Mhm.
And I walk around saying, my body is for
Well,
Jesus.
plus you don't spend much time in judgment, which means that you don't judge yourself. So you let your
No,
actual spirit out, your actual who you are. You know who you are. You are a real person, where the majority of people spend the majority of their life judging everybody else, which means when they get alone, they judge themselves.
it's
So
true. It's
it's
sad.
a power. Re- Lower judgment, you have more life.
That's so true. And when you know
You feel me,
this,
Trey?
like now it makes me love people even more because I can see the little light in not
Mhm.
you, but like somebody in I'm just kidding. I see lots of light in you. I'm in like somebody who's poisoned,
Mhm.
like the angry little balls. I'm like, instead of being like, yuck, I'm like, oh, I love
Mhm.
you. You don't be like, wake up, wake up. You're like, come out into the light,
You're
Carol
just
Ann.
spiking their drinks with clove and cinnamon.
You know what? I literally said that to Arnett. I was like, "Listen, I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm one of the mountain girls, the redneck mountain girl. I'm like, I've been to every state. I've been down every highway. I know this country really, really well. There is nothing you're going to get past Americans. Americans are going to win. The whole red blue thing, which is all programmed anyway. But if there was a fight, red is going to win in 2.5 seconds.
It's the Hegelian dialogue. They they want to have a battle. Well, yeah, it's
But
that
now
is a laughable thing.
it's so
Yeah.
stupid. But now imagine those Americans who are so prepped that I know them. I mean, in every single state, imagine they're prepped with this information and you give them the wormwood. I mean, go put it in the water, sister. Could you imagine, like, you serve wormwood tea at like a DC event with all those people who are so taken over by
Yeah, but
parasites?
one
They've
dose isn't gonna, you know, change anybody's life. It's you
no,
have
but
to
I
do
mean,
cycles of it,
it'd be kind
a
of
few
fun.
months on, a
It'd
few
be kind of
months off. So,
Esau is the end of the world. Judge not, lest ye be judged by
yeah.
celery.
It's all in the
That's
big
funny.
book. It's just
She's been everywhere, man. I have been everywhere. I've been to every state. Really true. Running around barefoot, man. Yeah, I actually have been to every state barefoot.
mhm.
That is true. That's true.
Mm.
She had been down my highway. Yeah, you're a sinner. I'm just kidding. Poor Jerome.
Oops.
Edmond is finished. What's that mean? Edom. What's happening?
I don't know, again.
Are you adding another me?
No, no, no. I accidentally, I think, added the chat to the screen briefly.
Oh, oh, funny. Accidentally on
I can. You
purpose.
want me to add the chat?
No.
Whoops.
So, what
There it
do
is.
you think about all this? Like, how does this sit with you? How does this sit? Hey,
Well, I
Alabama.
mean, I'm not gonna judge what she's doing with the celery. It's just fine if you want. Um, oh, you were waving this around when you asked me.
This is funny, but no, the parasites. Like,
So
does that is that a missing link for you? What do you think about all
I
that?
have read about it before, and you heard me earlier where I said whether it's true or not is irrelevant. It is important to believe that it's not inside of you because everyone is it's potent to think that everyone is inherently good or to think that yourself is inherently good and powerful. You never want to give your power away. So, um, it's great to have a target. You know, those items do make you feel better. I fully agree with that. So, um, if you're asking me if I believe that it's true, it definitely sounds like logical, especially considering that we only see 0.1% of the light energy around us. And then we feed our dogs parasite killers every month. And nobody's like, that's weird. No, we feed the dogs parasite cleaner or parasite, not cleaner, parasite medicine every month. And then I always thought it was laughable that we pretend here in the US that there's no parasites. Oh, if you go to Africa, you have to take this shot, that shot. You have to get this
Yeah,
you have to do this
it's in the
cleanse when you
water.
come back. Don't
Yes.
drink the water. But then all the, indigenous folks drink the water and they're just fine. And then, you know, it's there's parasites everywhere. Perfect for
Uh-huh.
example, if something dies, you see the maggots, you see everything and that is eating them to returning them back to the earth. All of those things were alive inside of that being before it died. And that being alive kept all of those things at bay. Furthermore, when we've
Yeah.
tested uncontacted tribesmen, yeah,
Just it's so
when we've
nasty. Keep
when we've
talking. Keep talking.
tested
Ugh.
uncontacted tribesmen that are incredibly healthy, can climb trees, jump out of their shoes, they're athletes, they're in great shape, they're powerful people, and we test them with our modern medicine, they have everything. You know, yeah.
Oh, really?
So the body's ability to keep things at bay is incredibly strong if you feed it with the right mental food and with the right physical food. And clearly our culture has been out of balance for a long time. Media,
Let's see.
the
For
so
real.
the media, the food, every single angle really has been corrupted.
Yeah.
1917, the Fed, and the 19 teens, the Flexner report, all the food
Yeah.
additives that Congress got bribed to put them
Yeah.
through. So when you're out of balance, your body can't keep those things at bay. So you get sick.
Yep. I'm asking for you. Beat goes on. Yes. Fennel and olive oil can help kill
Hmm.
parasites.
Yeah, olive oil is a great, but make sure it's real
Yes.
olive oil. Real olive
Yeah.
oil is not cheap, and they are allowed to label something olive oil that's not olive oil. If it has olive oil in it or an olive oil taste, they can label it olive oil. So try to get your olive oil from a single source producer, meaning it's bottled and sourced at one place. Taste it, and
Yeah.
then once you taste that, from here on forward, you will know when you are eating real olive oil versus fake olive oil because the
It's
taste
true.
just hits you. It's fragrant. It fills your nose with taste, with scent, and it just is you just instantly recognize it as being good and good for you.
Yeah. What's the one you use? What's
Durant
the
is the
company?
one that I use.
Durant.
I have a few other brands too,
Durant.
but start off with the
Like
single
real.
source stuff so you know what it's supposed to taste and smell like, and then you can experiment with some more affordable olive oils. But you'll know by the way it tastes and feels that you're getting a good oil.
Nice. And this says use a teaspoon of that really good olive oil in the morning with some lemon juice. And you can also mix it with anti-parasitic herbs like oregano, clove, or cayenne.
Hmm.
You can put it in a salad with raw garlic. So that's the so basically it's like it's eating how we've already been eating,
Hmm.
really. It's just cutting sugar,
Hmm.
no, cutting alcohol, And oh God, I would say pork has the
I
most.
haven't ate pork in years, and it's not be. I mean, it's they'll eat anything.
I'm a,
Pigs will
right.
absolutely eat anything.
No pork.
I basically just
That's
eat cow and have been for years because they eat grass. The sun comes down,
right.
makes grass. There is
What
no
pigs are
more efficient animal at creating food from than a cow.
pigs are full of parasites,
Yeah,
apparently.
I wouldn't recommend pig.
They're scavengers. They eat everything. They're going to give you tapeworms, trichinella, or whatever, flukes, roundworms, and cysts.
Hmm.
Yay. In some texts, pork is unclean. Energetically, pigs are like sponges for trauma and toxicity. So after eating, you may feel heavy, sluggish, or emotionally off. Wow.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
try to avoid foods that make me feel badly after I eat them. That's
Yeah,
your
for
body
real.
telling you don't eat this. It's like just
I was
listen
going
to
to,
it.
yes. And the beat goes on, kill parasites in your
Hmm.
body. Clean. I mean, listen. I used to have a beer for breakfast because I'm Irish. Like I like that. Not every day, but like camping, I like a big lager. Like and then go on a bike ride, maybe smoke a joint, and like go on a float and a swim, and
It's a
that's like
full
fun
day.
for me. That's a full day. You add a man in there, it's fun. A truck. All right, let's get so so I love that. So now I made myself, I changed the behavior instead like we're addicted to the thing. Like you want the thingy, you want the big sippy cup with the straw that everybody has a soda in. So I started taking regenerate because this regenerate is like if you get one thing tonight, get regenerate from Sean and you go to iloveangelashelton.com and it's in the link. Or you can go to his site, the one in Nashville. So if you're taking this and putting it in a bubbly drink, like a fever tree I love, or like now ones without any sugar, like you can use tonic water, any kind of bubbly. I personally like bubbly. I put the regenerate in it with all of the parasite
But
killers. And I add more lemon
mm.
and it becomes like a frothy beer.
By the way, tonic water has quinine in it, which would enhance the
Yeah,
absorption of Regenerate as well. But if
there
you've
you
never had
go. So
tonic
I've been
water, it has a strong taste.
But when I add all this other stuff, it has a super strong taste. And then I really jack it up with some lemon, so I have like a frothy lemony sour beer
And if
thing.
anybody has any
And
dental issues, clove is great for it.
listen to that, Gene. Yeah, because they're sending people down the river to have uh what are they called the crowns and the root canals and all the stuff in
Yeah.
your mouth, and then it's actually controlling things in your
Well,
brain.
root
And
canals bury a little sack of pus in your mouth. So,
ah!
yes.
Oh,
Yeah, so
yes. Yes, we're on Instagram. I'm Angela Shelton 007 because I'm 007. I'll sneak out of places. And Sean is Sean.Gilder
that's it.
on Instagram. I don't use my Instagram so much ever because it's owned by creepy weirdos. But I'll get back on there again. I will. And I saw your question down there about cats. Actually, women who have a lot of cats, there is a parasite that can get into their brain that actually causes like a brain
Yeah,
thing.
and a huge percentage of Ukrainians have that too. It's like just a known thing for people from the Ukraine. It's
Have parasite
the
brain?
cat parasite. I don't
Why?
know. It's
Why are you crying?
yeah, just
Oh, you want to hear something else I heard about Ukraine? Speaking of Ukraine,
what's that?
that the big fight is not ever what we think it is. And the big fight for that is the human farms.
Hmm. That's the original Khazarian homeland, modern day
Yep,
Ukraine.
the name
Hmm.
stealers. Such a beautiful country for such horrible people.
And it has one fifth of the topsoil of Earth is in the Ukraine. That's also why it's
Gross.
an incredibly
Yeah, everything
difficult
is like,
place to fight war, because all the machinery gets stuck because the soil is so rich and thick.
wow. Wow. Yeah, so it's not what we think. The wars are never what you think it's about or what we're told to think about. You know, you get like, oh, get up, get behind a, you know, a cause, get mad about it. Yay, we can eat on you. So everything is owned by creepy weirdos. It really sucks. That's what, yeah, it's true. But to see, the thing is, our job, now that you know, you, the science, the, you know, sci-fi movie, is to not get into the wormhole of being upset about it,
Hmm.
or like researching it all night, and now you're going to get freaked out, or you're going to get into panic about it. That is actually what they feed
Yeah,
on.
that works.
So it's a delicate dance. So like, be aware of it, but then go super joy,
Hmm.
happiness.
I know a lot of people can't eat beef with gout. They say that it flares it up. That's acid crystals in the joints. Um, I haven't done the
I love you
deepest
both.
dive on gout, but I would say that cutting sugar is absolutely number one for gout, because you got to improve those crystals will go out through the kidneys. But if you have high sugar, you're not going to detox anything. And gout's a long road to fix. And then
A certain
think
somebody.
about if you have uric acid crystals in all of your joints, when you're detoxing those and those are coming out, it's not going to be pain free.
Wow. Another somebody that I've talked about that is in my life has gout now in their foot, and they drink about one of these handles of scotch a week,
Yeah. Yeah, gout
they
is
have gout.
basically your body's ability to detox has been overwhelmed, and the body to stay alive is just stuffing junk in any little nook and cranny that it can. So it,
Yep.
you know, to get rid of gout, that's going to be a long road, but just basically eat really well, cut all the sugar out.
Which is the alcohol.
I would do some kidney boosting herbs, some chancapedra, dandelion
Mm.
root. You want to get, those kidneys really, you want to get the kidneys clean so that the uric acid, so the body feels comfortable to release the uric acid from everywhere it has it stashed so that it can leave out through the kidneys. But if the kidneys are all
You do.
backed up, then the body's not going to feel comfortable to move that uric acid out of the joints. And the beef thing, I know Western medicine says that beef flares it up. I have friends that have gout that say that beef flares it up, but I can't understand the mechanism on why that would be.
Unless they got bitten by that tick that makes you allergic to beef. I know somebody that happened
Yeah,
to.
alpha gal. Um,
That's so crazy. I appreciate all the knowledge. Thank you. That's a comment. I watched the thing the other day that root canals cause low grade infections in your body. It was by like holistic dentists.
mhm.
I think the dentistry is all a lie and allopathic medicine is all a lie now.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to believe in some of it. I mean, now I'm like, if you look at the history and when that started and when they implemented and who implemented it, it's like, it does not look good. It does not look good. No. Wow, I never knew what that actually was. Oh, gout. Yeah. So speaking of, the person that I know has gout who drinks like a lot of
Which is
alcohol.
why they have
They
gout.
just went to the doctor. Yeah. They just went to the doctor and the doctor got them on meds.
Yeah.
It's all this like just layers and layers of just feeding into the matrix. But here's the thing, if you just want your sugar, you just want your alcohol and you don't want to change your behavior, well,
Then you're going to have gout.
you're going to stay in this prison. Right? I mean, that's you're going to just keep in this prison and keep being fed
Yeah, because
upon
you
and
have to have the awareness for that when you pass on, that you can elevate to be energy without a body.
Yeah, out of this
Mm-hmm.
loop. Crazy. I'm just like next level. And now that I've done the cleanse and I'm gonna do this like as a lifestyle now, like every 40 days or whatever. Like I'm going for 40 days. Like on the calendar, I'm going full Jesus in the desert style. I'm like, tempt me, get out. But it has made my clarity amazing, my meditation's amazing, my like just and the people that have fallen out of my life.
Mm.
Like it's like, but in a good way. And the people that have shown up in my life are like, what? Like, wow. Like just to be present and not judgy and not like, uh, what's the word? Like you already know the story. You know, the people like, I know how this
Mm-hmm.
goes. I know how this goes. To be in a place where you don't actually know. It is actually new everywhere. I'm present in God energy and you don't anything could
Mm-hmm.
happen.
Well, those
Anything
people
could
that
happen.
already know they're stuck in trauma and some kind of trauma. They don't want any surprises, so they pretend that they already know everything, and they're not listening either.
They don't listen, especially the women. God bless them. I mean, I want to do my part. And Bee's knees, the beat goes on, says, do you stream every night? We do
Mm-hmm.
Thursdays, unless I'm away with my kid, which I was at archery last week. Hey, they won first place.
I didn't know what all those code archery fancy words you were texting me about, but that's cool.
Yeah, they won first place in the nation. Isn't
Yeah,
that cool?
yeah, that's
My
huge.
kid can off people with bow and
Hmm.
arrow, like right.
Yeah, and you have to have
I love
you have to
that
have
skill.
great body mechanics and posture to be able to
She has
continuously
excellent.
um, hit the mark over and over again with a bow. So,
She has great
hmm,
posture.
yeah.
It's fun. And I so want to be their mascot. Archery for me is the most difficult thing is it's like golf. It's so behaved and so poor and so like, you sit there and you don't go like woohoo,
Mhm.
like nothing. And I am one giant woohoo.
Right.
So I'm like I have to contain myself. I'll do my like my nails as little archery or like I'll be I want to dress up like a big giant arrow. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have my own tournament one day. I'll
Where
do, and it'll be like,
non-stuffy archery.
yeah, yeah, the
Yeah.
one tournament is
Ev-
kind of like kind of like the golf tournament in
Everybody
Scottsdale.
comes out with like a walkout song, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, and like every time somebody gets a 50, like something goes
Yeah.
off or something like
The
so, like
whole
make it.
target blows up and you have to bring out another one. You know,
That would be
there's like a
amazing.
sizable explosive right in the center.
That would be
I think we're
amazing.
on to something here. More people would tune into that than, you know,
That would be
people
amazing.
acting like they're
And then it's like
fencing or something with bow and arrows.
it's to benefit like busting into a tunnel and saving kids or something.
Mhm.
Like it's some great benefit.
To
And
put a bow on that, it seems like there's some, they're trickling out information on the diddler and
oh my
and Epstein, but the
God,
trickle has
jeez,
been
it's so
so
bad.
slow for so long. I've totally
That's
disconnected from it
because
because I don't believe it's ever coming out. But I
yeah,
love the
but the
fact that
top
it's not left the
people,
public consciousness and everybody's still talking about it and asking it and you know
well,
so.
thank God, what's just a little weird, when oh, there was those fires in LA and then there's no more news about Diddy.
Hmm.
I'm like, y'all, you gotta just wake the F up already. And the people that just can't wake up, that are just so programmed, it's honestly a waste of time.
And then now
Yeah, I
people
wish
are
them
talking about chemtrails, right? Because Kennedy is talking
finally.
about it. And it's like, hello, hello. Like all you had to do is just look up and believe your own eyes that it was not normal.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
like,
not
come
normal. It's not
on.
a cloud.
You know, but these people, they've never even started the work to figure out who they are. They're just teenagers that are um, that have never gotten beyond being a teenager and they're trying to fit into the group. So whatever the group
Well,
says, I'm on board with what the group says because I don't want to be off on my own. So they haven't even
Yeah.
begun the process of individuation, which Carl Jung talks about all the time. I don't know if you're a fan of Jung, but Jung
Yep.
is huge. I recommend everybody left on here to check out Jung.
Yeah. When Diddy's house got raided, they snuck all the real evidence against the big time players. They burnt his house
Did he?
and Beyonce and all of like convenient.
Mm. Yeah.
And then the tunnels underneath, and it's just like, yo, when here's the thing, and I also learned this from when I learned the Vatican reveal. When the reveal happens, because it has to spiritually, apparently, like we have to have an awareness, like people have to, it has to be revealed. People aren't gonna, there are some people who are, you're just not gonna be able to handle it.
Mm.
Or just be like, it's not true. Like you just show them about, this, and then they just can't hear it.
Hmm.
Can't hear
Yeah.
it. They're
The
like,
unknown
no.
is scarier than the known, so they'll cling to the known. That's it's like a cult. They'll cling to being in the cult, even with an unbelievable amount of evidence that they're in a cult, and the cult is that's why you know what I call it, the global homo death cult.
Now add parasites in there.
Yeah.
It's like global.
What do you think causes the homos?
It's really funny. I actually said that to Arnett. I was like, my friend Sean coined a phrase I think you're going to really appreciate, the global homo death cult. And he busted on that.
Well,
He's like,
unfortunately,
yeah, yeah,
right.
actually, yeah.
Unfortunately, it is actually,
It is actually, yeah.
you know, yeah.
And that is all like all that stuff, like the cutting out the women and the men and also their parts is all coming from this to disconnect us from our sacred places and the men and women together. Because when the men and women come
Right.
together, that is super
It's a
powerful, and that's
it's
what
a power creation. Yeah.
it
Not
really
just
is.
for babies, but for wants,
Energy,
needs.
yeah,
It's big.
can also manifest a big, like, kind of explosion with the big O, like a sacred
Hmm.
O that's connected with love, and you're actually like doing God work. It can whoo, like your O can kill a
Hmm.
bunch of them. Like you can, that's why I was like, you mean you can bone all day? Hey daddy, I could be in the kitchen and the bedroom and I could bone all day and kill parasites. Sign me up. I'll do it.
I'm just saying,
Like, you
Dad has a little bit of a point because what 120 years ago, you know, that's
put me
how
in
it
the kitchen,
was
please.
for quite a
Yeah,
long
no.
time. It seems
But
like a
you
low
both
stress
like,
life. Certainly, it wouldn't be suited for every woman, but for a lot of them, I bet that'd be ep-
happily be in the
yeah,
kitchen.
right.
I'm great in the kitchen. Put me in the kitchen,
Yeah,
please.
but you don't want to be told to
As
stay in the kitchen. I get it.
paid.
Oh, paid to be in. Yeah. Mhm.
It's like Gene says they'll all just say it's fake news. It's so true.
Yeah.
So I saw where some of the witnesses to testify against him were hard to find. Yeah, and the people were questioning it. Yeah, because they get
Yeah.
like, yeah, the witnesses like surprisingly went on an all life vacation.
The one thing that people don't know that and I love how people are like, "Oh, well that's how it used to be." Now they don't do that. In the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s they used to do that, but not today.
They
They don't
don't
do
do
that
that. They wouldn't.
today. The formation of the FBI was Hoover, and Hoover was blackmailed by both the Jewish and Italian mob. They had photos of him having being a homosexual in woman's clothing. So the formation of the FBI was founded by the head of it that
Huh,
was being blackmailed by two different
right.
mobs at the same time. Okay, and then he was the head of the FBI for how many years? It was ridiculous, like 40
Right.
years. And he was the head of the FBI before they even put the acronym of the FBI on top of the FBI. He was in charge of it before it became the FBI. And it's like, oh, but it was just in the past. It's not now. They don't
No,
do that
that's weird.
now. And it's just like, what a childlike teenage. That's like not even a teen. If they were at a teenage level of consciousness, they'd be like, oh, they're still doing it.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
but they're at a childlike consciousness to believe in that. But to not to believe in or to understand that is scary. So nobody wants to know.
Well, it's like the dude who has the gout who drinks all day, or not all day, but half the day. I mentioned chemtrails, and he was like, "Oh yeah, those are contrails. Those are just from the planes." I'm like,
Well, now it's coming out that
"No."
it's not just contrails. And if you look back in 2022, they debuted 12 new cloud formations. So up till 2022, there was, I don't know, half a dozen different clouds that they named. And they added 12 more in
Kind
2022.
of weird.
And then
Kind of
why would that
weird
be? Because
because they're
because
not
they keep
clouds.
everybody in this spell of a story that's just a web of lies that enable them to do what they want to do, and they want it to poison us from up above.
Yeah,
So,
so that we're numb and
right,
dumb and don't look under the what they're
right.
doing.
So that's why there had to be 12 new clouds because the stuff that they were spraying was making new shapes of clouds. I mean, come on.
Yay.
But I'm glad that Kennedy's talking about it. I'm glad that Kennedy's getting the fluoride out of the water and
Finally, it's the slow reveal. So here's a comment. Seems like Hoover was the perfect surname for that dude.
hey, who is that? Yeah. And then you go into how many names that are in our history that have connections like that. So who knows if that was even
Gross.
his real name?
Yeah, no shit. And also, like, conspiracy theory was a made up word by them.
Yeah, that was created by the
Side note,
CIA.
and the beat goes on. You might like this story. I have traveled a lot. I've heard a lot of stories from people all over the country and the world. But just me. I have heard way too many stories where the woman is telling about her creepy weirdo husband, right? Who, well, he did something that I can't tell. I can't, it's so nasty. And I was like, oh no, you can tell me anything. Well, he ate Dookie and wanted to eat her Dookie.
So weird.
And, and then he worked at the
Mhm.
CIA. And then I talked to another lady in a total different state, and she's telling me her story. Oh, well, my husband worked at the CIA, and he was a little. I mean, he was kind of violent, and or whatever. And he also he did some weird stuff, and I was like, oh no, do tell, he ate
Mhm.
Dookie.
So,
And I was like, wait, what? Like,
mhm.
hold on. Like, how come I have heard 5, 6 stories of people that are with people in the CIA that were eating
I know.
Dookie? Like what? Like what? What? What?
Did
What?
you see
No.
that newest
Just leave
you
it
see that newest comment? DNA tests are illegal in Israel. I mean, you know why that is, right, Angela? You know why
Wow.
that is?
No, tell me, is that to see the tiny
Because
hats?
the indigenous people are not white. They're white-ish brown. They're a blend.
Yeah.
So all of the people that control it are actually from the north. They're white.
They're not the
They're
real Jews.
they're Khazarians. And they want that land because it has the best port in the Mediterranean.
And it also
Uh,
has the land farm, the human farms.
Well, you're saying that about Ukraine. I'm not. Yeah.
The alphabet orgs recruit psychopaths. Yeah, for sure.
So do the corporations.
And social who now that you know about the parasites who are like compromised by the parasites and then they're controlled even easily by all of it. So it's like you're just in a farm and then you become like a sergeant for the creepy weirdos. Ugh.
So they don't. If they were to do the testing, they'd come out to be Eastern European most of the time. The people that are in power of Israel, and it would be proven that that's not their homeland.
Oops.
But but that's their homeland because they say it is, and the homeland we're on isn't our homeland, but anyone who just shows up here, that it is their homeland, but it's not our homeland because the Indians were here first. But it's anyone's homeland who wants to hop a border, so that's cool. You can't make the logic make it's
Yeah, the logic, and then the logic
it,
of them pouring all those people in who are all sleeper cells.
that's why it's all emotional manipulation
Hmm.
and cult mentality, group people afraid to not be in the group. But it's just the web of lies is so crazy right now that it just seems like
Yeah,
it's all falling apart and people are waking up. But I just still firmly believe there's a huge percentage that will never wake up because
they're
they
too.
haven't looked at themselves, or they're lying to themselves every 15 minutes or more. It's just too much for them to handle. So we're in, it's interesting times. Although the scripts that they're writing, with Trump and all the stuff that they're unveiling,
What are
you
they
know,
failing?
just all of
Sexual
the
stuff.
way that they're navigating, weaving a storyline that the masses can believe in is, I mean, it's
Anti him or pro him?
um
Are you talking about
I would
both?
say just the things that he is doing that they are, presenting to people, like now, the whole Qatari and the East stuff where we're becoming friends with them and distancing from Israel, and you know what I mean? It's because it's a storyline, because we're not getting the truth at any turn. We're getting a storyline that's being presented to us.
Wow. And also, you can't research stuff or talk about stuff. The bee's knees says, or the beat goes on. I don't know why I keep calling you the bee's knees. um, Name changes from Eastern Euro names to indigenous Levant names. I tried to type a prominent Levant name. What's Levant name? And
I'm
YouTube
assuming
was
he's meaning Satanist, but I
oh,
don't know. Tell us about Levant.
it's everywhere. Yeah, they won't let you do anything. It's crazy. Like it's but then when you realize that it's a web intentionally to keep you to be eaten upon, it makes
Mhm.
sense. Like it makes total sense. It's like, oh,
And a lot of
okay, know
people,
thy enemy.
Tucker Carlson keeps talking about how it's a spiritual war, and there's more and more people talking about how it's a spiritual war,
Yeah,
and it does. That is what it is,
it
you know.
is. And the spiritual war
Because if
is
you don't, well, even
force.
if you remove that, there's actual parasites. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But if you make people feel despair, then everything collapses. And if you are in a position of power, this is why they have the Hegelian dialect, why there's blue versus red team. Because it doesn't matter which side you're on, as long as is both sides are fighting each
Fighting.
other.
Yeah.
Because in that scrum, then you get to pick up riches out of being in a position of power. So
Yep.
you keep the people at war. I mean, that's why, it's so
Oh
potent that they
wow.
start race wars.
Levant, aka Canaan. Oh, it's the Canaan. Just want to be careful. A comment already got wiped in real time. Yeah. You also can't put Jesus in a lot of places. And supposedly the if you want to look at the parasite story, the serpent, the creation story with Eve, Adam and Eve, the serpent is actually a parasite. She got pregnant with two babies. One has the parasite line with Cain, and one has the Adam's line with Abel.
Cain and Abel.
So it's like, what? And then you've got a tainted bloodline. I'm like, that's next level.
Hmm.
It's crazy. It's why it's like it's a sci-fi movie, y'all. It's just a sci-fi movie. Just live your life better. Have more fun. Do what you want to do.
Well, and then a lot of people would say that when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, we're just light suspended in magnetism. That's the true nature of reality.
Interesting. The void. I've been practicing walking in the void.
99.9% of atoms are empty space. So almost everything is empty space. There's magnetism, so the reason why we don't fall through the floor or earth is because it's repelling magnetism.
So wild. That's so wild. And it's wild how they're the web, even with your comments, like it's key, it tries to keep truth, but we can energetically learn ways to circumvent that. And I have like this. This is amazing. This is my this,
And
and also energy. Like energy can shift things. Anyway, I'll give that a rest.
well, one more thing just to put a bow on that. He has at least 4 last names. At least 4, maybe more.
Oh, of what?
But
This person.
Mileski or whatever was his Polish name, but he
Was.
also has at least 2 Americanized names.
Wow, just to write his name. That's creepy. Imagine that, the worse that they are, they're like soldier sergeants for an evil queen. Creepy.
Oh. And
So
then we
creepy.
lost.
Anyway.
Oh, and then I thought we lost
protect-
you.
No. We noticed each other noticing, and
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Enough said. Yeah, for real. No. It's
Speaking
an
of enough
energetic
said.
thing.
Speaking
We're
of enough
late.
said. I
It's
know
like
we
8:10. So we talk on Thursdays usually around, 10 to midnight.
Yeah.
And I haven't only been going on his social because the things that I said and the beat goes on, got me flagged, and I'm under like lock and key right now with my team is like, zip it. And I was like, can I talk about parasites?
They're like,
can I talk
sure.
about that? Can I swing my celery sword to talk about parasites in my brains?
They probably would rather have you just swing your celery sword around than talk about the rest of the stuff.
Just be funny. Yay.
Well, let's we gotta have a phone chat about
all contracts. I cancel and clear all contracts. I work only for
all
God.
right. I do the same. I cancel and clear all contracts. I cancel and clear all contracts. I'll say it in the right way. Yeah.
Amen. For real. And I learned aho. Aho. Instead of saying amen, aho is a Native American, like, I see you, I agree. Aho. It's like aloha, but it's aho.
Aho. Kind of sounds like ahoy.
Yeah, I know, right? It's aho. It's great. You got a friend in me. Nice. Well, you're welcome. You remind me of the Mona Lisa painting. I've been to the Mona Lisa painting. That's crazy. It's surrounded by Japanese people.
With constantly feverishly taking photos.
Yeah.
You know those fast clicking ones.
I lived in Japan for a short period of time, and I traveled the world, but I have never seen people take pictures like Japanese people. I mean, I literally am like, where are you saving all that?
Yeah.
What do you do with all those pictures?
Nobody knows.
It's pretty wild. But yeah, if you see the Mona Lisa, you also see many, many Japanese people around the framed little picture. I'm surprised nobody's thrown Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa. That's great.
Awesome. Well,
let's get together, or let's get on the phone soon and talk about our paperwork.
Yes.
You know what paperwork we're talking about.
I have begun.
About the paperwork next Thursday, perhaps.
I have begun. I'm excited about that. It's thrilling. Let's put it that way. It's thrilling paperwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got.
All right.
I appreciate all of the comments, even Bros. I forget Bro's name, but thanks, Bro.
Thanks, Bro. Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. We out.
Parasites.
Regenerate. AngelaShelton.com.
Yeah. Bye. It's IloveAngelaShelton.com. I should have put that on there. I'm testing.
We got to change that. It just says Angela Shelton.
I'm testing you. If you're paying attention, be here next Thursday.
I love Angela. I was just looking at the screen. So it's IloveAngelaShelton.com.
Is where I have this link. Yeah.
Yeah. Regenerate yourself.
Yeah.